Hello, lovely human. Welcome to the Little Flower. So, for today's reading, the prompt that came through is Dark Night of the Soul. Messages you need when you're in the thick of it. So, I am very familiar with a Dark Night of the Soul. I've had two intense experiences that I would call dark nights of the soul. And I guess my description of what a dark night of the soul is, it's a time of darkness in your life. It's a time of confusion. It's a time of possible fear. It's something you walk through that, to me, it feels as if you're walking through the shattered landscape, like the shattered pieces of your soul, the parts of the landscape of your soul that need healing. And while you're walking through them, you may not feel it, but you are the light. You are the light. While you're walking through it, you may feel that you are full of nothing but darkness. But the reason that you're walking through it is because you are the light, and light needs to be shown in these places in your being, these unhealed places, these wounded places. It could be from your childhood. It could even be from your ancestry. And that's why a lot of times it's very confusing when you're in it, because, for instance, the one I'm currently climbing out of right now, and I am, wow, I just realized as I said that I'm very much on the other side of it, and there's only tiny little echoes that bother me now. Like, I haven't had a fear around it in a while. My nervous system is regulating very well, and I'm in that new horizon. Sometimes I do get pulled back into the heavy energy, but I'm getting there, and I'm feeling grounded in my new identity and reality. But my point, what I was going to say was, this most recent one, I feel I was walking through the pain and trauma. And I mean, it sounds intense, but like the desecration of innocence that occurred in my ancestry, not even ancestry, it's very close to home. It's like directly like through my mother's lineage, my grandparents, I was walking through something that it literally felt like it had been something I had experienced in childhood, or something like something I had directly experienced, but I hadn't. So I had certain experiences that I guess could mirror that wound in a way, but not to the extremity, like not to the depth and core of what felt like it was inherent in my blood, in my DNA, like something I had to process, something someone had to take responsibility for, because nobody had, in my lineage. And so, when I was processing things around intimacy, and when I, like, okay, this is going to be a long intro. So if maybe those of you, I don't think everybody sticks around for the intro, but those of you who are, this is for you. So I've had two major dark nights of the soul. The first one was a spiritual awakening that I had, followed by just like falling into the depths of despair, of like me questioning my identity. And that was throughout my 20s. And I had severe anxiety, and Juniper's here. I had severe social anxiety. A lot of it did have to do with my relationship to other people. And so it took me my entire 20s to get out of that. And I overcame it. And I got to a place of power and self-acceptance and love and hope and faith that I could live a really good life. And I had like a few years of experiencing that and feeling free. And then I had this major awakening around my potential. I had this awakening around what was possible for me in my life, and how I was meant to feel in my body, how I was meant to feel, like how worthy I was meant to feel of love, of connection, of abundance, of wealth. Like there was all these layers that came together of awakening around what I was meant to experience in my life. And then soon after, and it was interesting because I agreed to this. I remember I was at a really good place in my life, and I said, okay, God, I'm ready to face that thing from childhood. And it was something that I had shame around, but it wasn't like some crazy, like it was something I'm sure a lot of kids have dealt with, but I know that I always knew I carried shame around it. And it was interesting because once I opened up that can of worms, it was deeper than what just like my experience in my childhood. It went way deeper. And through the unearthing of all of that, I found out certain things that had happened, like in my lineage and with my mother, or with, like, I found that because I was opening up about it, and I learned things like, oh, I'm processing things from my lineage here. And that's why it feels so close to home, as if I had actually walked through it when I hadn't. And so I know that a dark night of the soul and the things you have to process while you're walking through it can be incredibly confusing, because you might be processing things from your ancestry. And so you might be confused as to why this is something you even have to process in the first place. And it could be very jarring to go through, because I just think walking through a dark night of the soul makes you question your identity. It's not for the faint of heart. Like, God wouldn't lead you through it if it wasn't incredibly purposeful, if it wasn't what your soul is meant to do, a part of the healing journey of your soul, a part of healing the collective soul of humanity. I mean, this is what we're here to do. We're not just here. We are here to live a good life. We are here to follow our dreams and attain them, but we're also here to heal, like, this is earth. This is not, we're not in heaven, like, we have both heaven and hell existing on earth. And so part of our journey here is about facing that darkness and healing that darkness and shining the light on that darkness. Like, you are the light as you walk through the darkness. And so always remember that, like, you are the light, even if it doesn't feel like you are the light, even if it feels like things are like, I felt like my experiences, both like two major experiences that I've had, felt like they were like, everything was like in my body. It felt very visceral in my physical body. And I knew exactly where things were held, where the trauma was stored, where the wounding was, like, in my body. So it felt so visceral. And so it's so intense when you're walking through it. But once you're on the other side, it's over and you're healed and you're more whole and you're more integrated in that place where the wounding was. There's nothing but flowers growing now. And it's so worth it. So anyway, this is such a long spiel. This is probably the longest intro I've ever done. And maybe I need to do more long intros just to, like, talk about my own experience in life. So I'm not, inundating you with that in the readings, which I don't typically do that. But I recorded a reading or an intro just before this, and it was not as personal. And I just thought, no, I want to re-record that, and I want to share my personal experiences with the Dark Night of the Soul for the few people who do stick around for the intro. I don't know if there's anything else to say about that other than, God's got me through my dark nights of the soul. I know we all have different words for the divine. I use the word God, and I know God is the one reason I was able to get through my experiences. And I just hope that what I bring forth to you in this reading is beneficial to you. I hope it's a tool for you. I hope it's something you can come back to when you're feeling confused or overwhelmed or scared. So I'm just going to give you the messages you need in this moment. I'm going to try to tap into the collective energies of those who find this reading, of those who pick a particular flower, and we'll see what comes through. So go ahead and choose group number 1 with the orange zinnia, group number 2 with the fuchsia zinnia, group number 3 with the pastel pink zinnia, or group number 4 with the red zinnia. And I will see you. Click the corresponding timestamp down below, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, lovely human. Welcome to the Little Flower. So for today's reading, the prompt that came through is Dark Night of the Soul. Messages you need when you're in the thick of it. So for this reading, I'm giving you the tools, the messages that you need when you're walking through the heavier times of your life, when you're walking through even a dark night of the soul in your life. So I'm no stranger to the dark night of the soul. In my intro, it was extremely long. I talked about my experience with the dark night of the soul, with having 2 major experiences in my life. I didn't go into too much detail, but I did talk about them if you're interested to know more about my experiences. But I do feel equipped equipped to give you messages about this just because I've walked through 2 major dark nights of the soul. And right now I am I wouldn't even say I'm on the tail end of one of my dark nights of the soul. I'm actually on the other side, and there are still echoes, like my nervous system isn't 100% regulated in the new reality. And I recognize that. I still have some work to do to feel safe and grounded and rooted in the light of my being and the healed version of who I am on the other side of this. But I'm here. And again, I feel like I hope that I can help you through yours. So we are entering into the infinite prayer for this reading. And to get you better acquainted with what it is, here is a short and sweet intro about it. And I will see you on the other side in your reading. Before we get into your reading, I'd love to share with you something that exists as a deeper extension of the little flower. Inspired by a dream I once had where the divine reminded me that her healing waters are overflowing and meant for everyone, I offer what I call the infinite prayer. Using holy fire Reiki, prayer, intuitively guided affirmations, and a belief in miracles, I channel a powerful transmission each month in the Little Flower Patreon. I also offer extended infinite prayer sessions that flow from select readings, including the one you're about to receive. If you feel called to go deeper, to tap into your own sacred, ever-flowing internal spring, always pure, always moving, always offering exactly what you need the moment you choose to return, then the infinite prayer or the Little Flower Patreon may be for you. I'll share more about this at the end if you feel called. Now, let's move into your reading. Thank you so much for listening to that intro. I want to mention before we get into your reading that there is a short window of time where you can get 50% off your first month of Patreon. So there's no obligation to stay, but if you do want to try out the Patreon, see if it's for you, it's a really good opportunity to check out the plethora of readings that are available in there, transmissions that are available in there, and gain access to the Infinite Prayer transmission that is correlated with this reading. So if you get the Overflow membership, you will receive access to the Infinite Prayer with this reading as well. So that's available to you. There will be a code down below, but if you did miss your opportunity, don't worry. Every month there's a small window. Hit that subscribe, hit that bell, and you will be notified of when I post so you don't miss it. So let's go ahead and get into your reading. You chose group number 1 with the orange zinnia. So zinnias are symbolic of endurance, lasting friendship, and remembrance. And the orange color is symbolic of the sacral chakra, intimacy, creativity, and connection. So I'm just going to scooch your little zinnia right up here, and we're going to get into your cards. So the first card I'm pulling is from the Witch's Shadow Work Oracle. And I am going to read from the guidebook because these are sweet little messages that come with this. And you have the dancer, and we have, I think they call him Pan. He's got like a little flute, and he's dancing around, playing his flute. He's got 4 crows around him. It feels very, interesting. And he's got some mushrooms surrounding him as well. It's symbolic here. I'm feeling fertility and protection. And there's something here about, because I know Pan, in mythology, I think his flute lures something into being. I don't know the exact mythology, but I mean, I'm sure we've all heard about Pan and the flute that lures. It can lure something to sleep, or it can lure someone into something. So I want to keep that symbolism intact here, and I want to keep that in mind because there could be something that I'm getting this feeling of someone who is being pulled into the dark night of their soul, and it can be terrifying, it can be scary, but it's almost like you have to go in this direction even though you're approaching the dark, you're approaching something heavy, but you're pulled. And it can feel confusing, you could want to turn around and run away, but this almost feels like a sacred trickster energy as well, where it's deep down in the depths of your soul, you're meant to go here. And I feel like there's something to retrieve. It feels like a soul retrieval. Like I'm seeing you walk into the dark, and in the corner of the space you're in, like this golden thing glowing. And it's like a part of your soul that was left behind that you just have to pick up and carry with you and go back out of the darkness. And it can be treacherous. It can be scary. You can question why you're even doing it. It's like doing something in your life and making a decision to do something in your life that like all your instincts and all your logic tells you like, why the fuck are you doing this? That's the energy that's initially coming through. I am going to read from the guidebook for the dancer. Oh, interesting. There is a trickster in this guidebook, but okay. So the dancer asks, when are you self-conscious and how do you overcome it? Pan, the lusty half-man, half-goat Greek god who romped around the hills, woods, and mountains of Arcadia, is dancing and playing his pipes in a magical circle of mushrooms. Pan epitomizes a thoroughly hearty and robust approach to life, sleeping until noon to reserve his energy, then rising to venture forth and find a willing nymph to impregnate. No self-doubt or self-examination crossed his mind. A fertility deity, he was also a protector of animals, mainly because he was part animal himself, as his horns, beard, and goat legs testify. Pan is the forebear of the horned god, the lord of the woodlands, the hunt, and the animals. The horned god is born at the winter solstice, unites with the goddess in marriage at Beltane, and dies at the summer solstice. Other horned male figures include Cernunnos, the Celtic god of fertility, animals in the underworld, and Herne the hunter, a dark, chaotic male figure with antlers sprouting from his head. You say, I dance away my uncomfortable feelings. We can take inspiration from Pan and live life more fully without being hindered by the unhelpful shadow traits of reticence and repression. One way to do this is to dance. So I'm going to keep in mind, this is talking a lot about right here. It's talking about dancing and how that can help you, like it says, this helps shake off lurking negative feelings and plugs you into the here and now. Dancing also gets you out of your head and into your body, enabling you to move freely and without inhibitions. You can create a moment of freedom and wildness that is hard to find elsewhere in everyday life. So there's this like primal freedom and wildness that I think you're retrieving in this dark night of your soul. I think there's a part of you that could have shame wrapped around it. I think a lot of us have shame wrapped around parts of ourselves that are more wild in nature, that are like to society could look like taboos, could look strange or weird, like even just like dancing itself. Like it's making me think of this guy on TikTok who dances on street corners, like wildly dances. It's insane. He sets up his TikTok and he's up near Chicago, and he draws like cops come, like people call the cops on him and all he's doing is dancing. And so I think there's a part of you that is contrary to society, or the society or culture or family group you grew up with, or the culture that you live in now, that is like coming back to life in you. And if you are walking through a dark night of the soul, it could be something about that, like a wild part of you coming back alive. Okay, and I thought it was so interesting that it said he dies at the summer solstice. He comes alive in the winter, and there is life in the barrenness. And if you're walking through a barren part of your being, he's the life in that part of your being. He's beckoning you into a place in your soul that you fear to go for perhaps the shame that surrounds it. But he's beckoning you there so that you can find the sacred element of who you are that resides there. So let's go ahead and get a few more cards. I'm going to pull from the Cosmic Magic Oracle. This is an astrology deck that might give us some insight into the elements, energies, cosmic forces at play with this dark night of the soul. Oh, wow. This one flew right out, so I know it is meant to be here. And we have Pisces, number 12, with intuition. And then we have, wow, Scorpio and Pisces, 2 water elements. Scorpio, number 8, with transformation. We have moths, 3 moths in the sky here. And of course, a scorpion. This is telling me that with the two water elements, that this could be murky, this could be a confusing time, this could be tricky. And even with the dancer and the way he's luring, like it makes me think of the Knight of Cups, like a luring energy. I'm gonna get two more oracle cards. But it's as if you're being lured into a cocoon in a way. And I love that it's moths, not butterflies here, because moths are night beings. Butterflies are day beings. And there's something here about the night for you, the winter for you, the fertility that exists in this space, and the emptiness and the barrenness. I'm seeing like you swimming through water underneath, like the top of the water is covered in ice, but you're under the water swimming through. We have hope, Lady of the Night, and affinity with night phlox. So these are flowers of the night. And we do have this one that kind of wants to pop its head in. I'm going to keep it. It's sensuality with damask violet. And again, we have a fox here, which is symbolic of the sacred trickster as well. And then, wow, we do have some sort of dog creature here. It could be a coyote, but it looks more like, it kind of looks like, what are those called? Those dogs, those like, I saw one night when I was walking home in Austin from work. It was a jackal. Okay, yes. A jackal. I had to look that up. So, wow. The dancer is also making me think of, okay. So when I was in Austin, I keep thinking of Austin when I was in Austin. But the last time I was in Austin, there was this girl who came to me for Reiki. And she was an exotic dancer. And while I was giving her Reiki and through her experience, through her explaining her experiences with exotic dancing and how she's walking through that, I gained this greater understanding of what she was going through and how she was healing herself. Whereas before, I might instantly judge someone, and I'm not judging them. I'm not like, I have compassion for exotic dancers. Like I'm not judging, but I might think to myself, ooh, I wonder what they've gone through to end up, wanting to do that with their lives. Like I might think, oh, they must have had to have gone through something, which I could be wildly wrong about that. But in that time that I was doing the work on her, I was having this greater understanding, like, oh, this isn't something that's like worsening her life, or this isn't like a huge mistake she's making in her life to deepen her or more entrench her into her wounding. Like this is something she's doing and exploring and walking through to gain a sense of power over her sexuality, to gain a sense of, like, I don't know what she's been through in her past, but it really felt like, I hope I'm being sensitive enough to this situation, but it really felt like it was a healing experience for her, and she was regaining her power because she was able to set like parameters around how she was expressing her sensuality and her sexuality within the experience. And through that, I know she was healing, and it was something she had to go through. And so that's just an example, but there could be something you're walking through that you don't understand why you're doing it. Like you feel like, why am I doing this? Why, like I don't really want to end, I don't want to stay in this place, or this isn't my end result or my end goal, but I feel like I have to walk through this for some reason. Again, with the like against logic kind of thing. And it's true, you really do have to walk through it. This is an experience you need to explore because, again, there's something inherent in it. There's something beautiful in it. There's something rewarding in it. There's something to retrieve within it. And it is, in a way, necessary. So I think a lot of us can relate to that. I know I can, because I feel like I'm always getting kind of sucked back into my hometown, and I've always wanted to break free. And now that it's so interesting because now that I feel like I could take it or leave it, I don't need to break, I'm contented. It's like, I know I'm called out of my hometown. And it's almost like there's resistance around it this time. Whereas before I was always trying to escape it. Now it's like, well, I've found this peace here. But now I have to take the scary step and actually move out of it. And it's so interesting because it's almost like there must have been a wound, or there must have been something I had to keep circling back to, before it was finally completely integrated. And it makes sense that it's integrated because I have a neutral charge towards my hometown now, whereas before I had this like severe charge towards it. And it was because, looking around every corner, there was like echoes of my past. There were painful moments and painful experiences and reflections I didn't want to confront. And now I've gotten to this place where I'm like, I don't care anymore. Like it doesn't affect or alter, how I see myself or how I view the place I'm at in my life. I used to judge myself for where I was at. And now I have that again, it's like a neutral charge. So it's almost like if you do feel like you keep circling back and circling back, it could be like you're waiting to retrieve the gold. And like maybe there's something from your past that, like a part of you that you've dismissed it's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Like you might have dismissed something that you're meant to carry with you into your next chapter. So, and maybe that's why I feel more contented this time around, because I finally integrated something. I finally retrieved something. And it's like, well, I'm okay now. I love who I've been. I love who I am. I remember who I am. And it's, the zinnia partly is symbolic of remembrance. So there could be something there, remembering a part of who you are and just letting that part of you be on board with the new phase of your journey. So this is interesting. And I keep going on about this, but it makes sense because this part of me that I'm starting to reintegrate into my being, and for me, it has to do with who I am in a social context, who I am in my relationships, the fun, joy-filled, free part of me. She's kind of back online. And it's interesting because when she's back online, when this part of me is back online, I feel contented, like no matter what I'm doing, I'm happy because I'm happy. That's who I am, like there's a part of me that's always happy and that can find joy in anything. And so, it's interesting that I'm resistant to take the next step or to take the next leap that puts me in that position of being scared of something new or being scared of the unknown. But I know it's what I'm meant to do. And anyway, let's get into your tarot. Let's get into your tarot. I feel like I'm rambling a bit, so just hoping everything I say here somehow hits something for you. And maybe not. Maybe some of this, it will be kind of take what resonates, leave what doesn't. All right, so we're pulling from the Light Seers Tarot. I really wanted to have a lot of color. Like while I have this black background, I wanted to have a lot of these cards have some color to them. And that's why I chose this Light Seers Tarot deck. It's really colorful. It's really beautiful, but it's also truthful and honest. And it's in the imagery. So we have Temperance. We have the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Three of Swords, the Two of Cups. That's very telling for our two central cards, the Three of Swords and the Two of Cups. Could be about heartbreak, intimacy, vulnerability. Page of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, and lastly, we have, are we going to do one more? Because this is kind of all over the place. I do want to pull one more, I think. Okay, so this actually makes only one central card, which is the Two of Cups. Okay. And the Ten of Swords. I believe what you're walking through right now is shifting your perception of what intimacy means to you. Uniquely to you. What type of connections that are going to be most fulfilling for you. You're being drawn into the dark night to retrieve a part of you that honors your authentic nature that allows you to shine the light of your authentic nature into the world around you so that you may attract those who are the most not only healthy connections for you, but the most harmonious, the most natural, the most authentic, the most comfortable. They feel like home to you. You're meant to be in connections that feel like home. And this is the shift you are making right now. So whatever endings you've had to process recently, whatever no's you've had to face when you've walked towards love, when you've walked towards friendship, when you've walked towards intimacy, whatever rejections that have occurred have been for your benefit, have been to lead you and guide you into the places surrounded by the people that are most suited to you. You could be healing wounding related to your worthiness of these connections. I believe you're seeing things in a new light, or at least you will see things in a new light on the other side of this transformation that you're walking through. Your hope and your light that's going to see you through it is this potential of this intimacy that's meant for you, these connections that are meant for you, or this connection. It could be a romantic potential connection that you are hoping for in your life. This is the light that sees you through this. We aren't looking around us for proof. We're looking within. Your proof comes from within. Both of your cosmic magic cards have women with their eyes closed. They are both water elements, and we have intuition and transformation. And those two numbers actually associated with these two cards add up to 20, which reduces to 2. 2 of Cups, union, unity, intimacy. You will find the thread you're meant to follow within. You may be experiencing evidence of the contrary to what you want surrounding you right now. And there is no actual physical evidence that you can find that's going to show you that you're getting somewhere in your connections, in this connection, or in your romantic life, or in your desires for intimacy. There could be proof all around you that you're not getting anywhere, that you're not finding the one or the ones that you're meant to be surrounded by, that you're meant to be blessed with the presence of. Your proof is going to be within. You will not find it around you right now. And if there are signs surrounding you, you're meant to look at the energy of the sign, not the actual physical element that has come into play, or the person that has come into play to give you that sign, to show you that sign. These signs are etheric in nature, not physical in nature. And these are the lights and threads you're meant to follow. I'm seeing one of those ugly creatures that are at the bottom of the ocean in the muck and the darkness, and they have the little light hanging over their head. It's like you have a light to follow, and it's bright, and it's within you, and it can never go away. It's a part of who you are. And that is the light that will illuminate the way. Nothing outside of you will give you what you need. It's all within. This could be a lesson of recognizing that you are all you'll ever need. And I know that's a paradox because we do need others. It's in our makeup. But I think recognizing your wholeness is going to be the outcome of this experience that you're walking through right now. And in your recognition of your wholeness, you find the soul or souls of those who are aligned to that wholeness and who bring love into your life that reflect that wholeness back to you in so many colorful, beautiful ways. Something I've been noticing about myself recently, vulnerability moment here, because I haven't fully even processed this yet, but I will talk about it if I feel called to talk about it. I feel it in my heart space. Three of Swords is about heart pain, and I've noticed lately, and this is something that's been pervasive to who I am for so long that I have never recognized it until now. This feeling of why not me? Why am I left out? And it was a belief system. It's something in me that I really believed, like, no, it happens for other people. It doesn't happen for me. And I just never really questioned it. Like, I kind of just, why I've never questioned that, I don't know. Because it's interesting because another part of me fully believes it's for me, fully believes love is for me, abundance is for me. There's another overwhelming part of me that I follow that I believe these things are for me. But it's like, I don't know, that part of me, that wounded part of me in my heart space has been coming up lately. And it's like, oh, like, I didn't even know I still felt this way. So I started claiming things and fighting for things, fighting for what I'm worthy of. Not fearing that these external circumstances are going to rip things out of my life that are good, or, like I got a new car and I love my new car. And like a few days after I got it, it's making this wheel bearing noise. And it triggered all of these fears of like, can't something just good happen for me? Why does it always have to be so difficult? Why can't it just be smooth and I get a new car and everything's perfect? But then I realized over time of, taking it in to get looked at. And then I started looking at this car in particular and what kind of long-term maintenance it needs. And I was like, oh, I need to get this done to it. Like I need to do like transmission fluid, all this stuff. And then it was just awakening me to the great responsibility of having the car and taking care of it long term. And so, if it would have just went smoothly, maybe I wouldn't have looked at, oh, I need to do a drain and fill on the transmission to make sure long term the transmission's cool. Maybe in like 4 years the transmission would fail, but since I'm taking care of the transmission, it's not, and it's like this initial discomfort, this initial like why, turned into this learning experience of like, no, this is a responsibility and we're going to take care of it now. So I'm grateful, that the wheel bearing or whatever is going out on it, So there's just such great richness to what you're walking through right now. And so many lessons inherent and so much comfort available to you in these spaces that, and awareness, because we have the Page of Swords here and like, we have this woman with the light bulbs and the two, I think they look like sparrows kind of flying around her. And I just think you're going to understand more deeply and have these aha moments by walking through this experience that give you a new understanding and awareness of why it's taken so long, or why everything had to occur the way it did, or maybe for me, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm holding myself back because I'm holding on to this part of me that just believes that, oh, it's for everyone else and not me. And then so I started tending that part of me and I'm like, oh my God, this is like just a feeling of like my inner child and her feeling left out as a kid, and I just need to send love to this place and like remind this part of me that this is not ultimate truth. So there's so much fertility and richness in where you're at and what you're being called to traverse right now. And there is an ending to it. We have the Ten of Swords. It's like, look at this beautiful card here where this woman is walking off into the horizon with her beautiful 10 crows protecting her along the way and clearing the way for her. And I feel like at the end of this journey, you walk forward confidently into your new horizon and fully integrated, fully whole, fully knowing who you are, fully standing in your confidence. Like it just feels like freedom awaits. And there's just such a deep recognition and mastery. We have 8 of Pentacles here. It's like this is a necessary part of your journey so you can become who you're meant to be in all of your glory and all of your light and all of your beauty and all of your love, and be able to allow all of that beauty and love to inhabit the parts of you that were once wounded, and to lead the way, and to bring love into the world around you. Like, it feels like you're just making sure that you're leaving no stone unturned before you do move forward into the light of your new horizon of your life. And part of that is addressing the wounding within you. And as I'm speaking, I'm like, I have my hands hovered over my body and I feel it. It's like, I think there's a lot going on in your body. And I'm sure you can viscerally feel where certain wounding is, just like I can. And I'm sure that's going to be a useful tool for you, because even if you don't know what you're walking through, you can pinpoint, okay, I feel this in my sacral chakra, or I feel this in my heart. And you can send love to those spaces. Even if you don't know what's going on in there, you can send light and awareness to those spaces, even if you don't know what they represent just yet. But the wheel is turning. We have the Wheel of Fortune here. Tides are turning for you. Your life is shifting and changing, and you are growing and transforming. Temperance can be about alchemy, but it can also be about slowing down and taking your time. It can be about, in this context, it does feel like the alchemical part of you is at play right now. And what you're walking through, with that alluring energy, what you're being pulled into. It could even be like with this water element energy, like a tide pulling you in a certain direction, or a current pulling you in a certain direction, and you want to resist it, but part of you just knows you need to let go and go with the current. Because at the end of the day, you're going to come out renewed, healed, whole, more aware, more aligned, more integrated. And with affinity and night flocks, you're going to come out knowing, like, just with these parts of you that are on board, that knows, like, that helps you know what you want in your life. That helps you feel more confident in taking action steps in your life to bring about the changes that you want in your life. You're going to exit this experience feeling more rooted in your body, feeling more connected to your body. We had that, literally you have the dancer as your major overarching theme here. Dancing could be so profound for you. But movement, yes, movement in your body, connection to your body is your key. Going within is your key. The light within, the answers are all within for you. It is time. I heard it is time. Your one major arcana is the Wheel of Fortune. What goes down must come up. What goes up must come down. And if you are in a down moment, the tides are turning and you're on the way up. And connecting to your body will be your key, will be your answer. The more you dance, the more you move, the more you listen to your body, the more you go within, the more that tide turns. The more the wheel turns in your favor. You just have to follow the flow of the healing that's occurring in your life, in your body, in your spirit, in your soul. And trust in where you're going through all the fear. You're being led somewhere beautiful, somewhere free, somewhere alive, somewhere that's more the epitome of who you are than you've ever been. Somewhere that's more authentic to who you are. So trust this process. Let go and live in flow. Okay, I'm going to pull one final card from it's called the Lucid Dreaming, let's see. It's called Lucid Dreaming, Lucid Living. It's an oracle book. And in the guidebook, it talks about lucid dreaming. But for me, when I read this, I want you to think of the lucid dreaming as literally living on earth is like lucid dreaming, like being awake in the dream. That's how I feel. It's like you can apply it to real life, not just your dream world. So let's see. Let's go ahead and pull one card and read from the guidebook. And then we will get into the infinite prayer transmission. Okay, so you got, ooh, interesting. Number 13 with sleep paralysis. Don't worry, they're not all dark like that, like sleep paralysis. So sleep paralysis, if you don't know what it is the experience of waking up in your body. This could be relevant to you because we're talking about the body a lot, but waking up in your body and not being able to move your body. It's like your body's still asleep, but your mind's awake. I've had a few experiences of this. A lot of people will have dark experiences while this occurs. It feels like having no control over your body. So that's interesting. Let's go ahead. It's number 13, which is a number of the death card, which is a card about transformation and change. I'm going to kind of cherry pick what I want to read here because it's quite long. Like it says, a powerful force freezes the dreamer. Simultaneously, he has the ability to slip out of his sleeping form and find greater freedom. Is this presence friend or foe? That is for the dreamer to decide. I want to give you this experience. I don't know why. And I might even cut this out. I don't know if this is relevant. But one time when I was 19, I was staying in Canada. I was studying abroad up there, and my family was out of town. And that's the weird part. Like, why did this happen when they were out of town and I was in the house alone? This could have happened when they were there, but no, I had to be alone in the house. And I fell asleep, and I woke up, and I had sleep paralysis. I couldn't move my body, and I heard literally audio. Like, I heard it. Someone standing behind me, walking on the floor, and the floor was creaking with their footsteps. And I had the sleep paralysis like a few weeks before that. So I had done research on it. And then I read about how people were experiencing that, like that same thing with like a demon or whatever, like a dark force or like a being, being present during it. And so I was freaking out, of course. And I kept my eyes closed because I'm like, I do not want to see whatever this is. I'm just going to close my eyes. And I willed myself awake. I remember I was breathing so hard, and I just was willing myself to wake up from it. I don't know if this is relevant at all, but, my thought. Okay. I thought about this, and I was like, oh my God, like, what if that was me outside of my body? Because as the thing approached me, it reached down and touched my side. And that's what it was. As soon as it touched my side, I was revitalized and I came to life. And I thought, holy shit, am I lucid dreaming and walking around? Like maybe I was walking around the house, and like part of me, like my soul, or like, part of my energy was walking around the house, and then I had to like rejoin myself. I don't know. That's just a theory. But that's so interesting that you could split into two. Like even with this, it says, simultaneously, he has the ability to slip out of his sleeping form and find greater freedom. Is this presence friend or foe? That is for the dreamer to decide. So that's what I mean. I was completely fearful of it. But at the same time, what if it was just me? So that could be relevant, I guess. Like maybe there's something you're fearful of, but it's really just a part of who you are, and you've just cast some sort of shadow on it based on your fears. There could be an integration occurring within you. You could fear a part of yourself. This makes sense actually, because I could relate to this because I think there was a part of me when I was younger that was wild and free and kind of crazy. And I got myself into a lot of shitty situations, and I got myself into some traumatic situations because of how fucking wild I was. And so there could be a part of you that is a beautiful, amazing part of you that you don't want to live without, but maybe it caused trauma, like its decisions and its naivety caused problems for you. And so you might fear going back to that place because of what was caused by that part of you. And so there could be something there. So anyway, that was a roundabout. I guess it did get us somewhere. Jackson, come on. Jackson wants to come up here, but I just don't want him to mess everything up. Sorry, buddy. Jackson's my Bengal cat. Sorry, bud. I know. You're saying hi. I know. But you're going to mess up all the flowers and the cards. Okay, we're going to read from the guidebook. I'm so sorry. Okay. So let's read the lucid living message. Confusion, powerlessness, and restriction are all themes you are currently grappling with. Realize that you are standing at the edge of what you have known yourself to be. You have the chance to become something bigger, but you have to let go of the self-inflicted limitations and fears that keep you small. Great power is awaiting you, but to grasp it, you must be willing to overcome the anxieties that are holding you down. The choice is yours. You can try to wake yourself up out of fear and retreat back to the known, or you can pull yourself out of the delusions into a completely new world. Become unfamiliar to yourself. Surprise the person you think you are with the person you could be. Say out loud something you would normally keep inside your head. Speak with an entirely different accent for a day. Walk backward. Bring a new novelty to your habituated self. What intimidates you the most about what you could be? Do you worry about what other people may think? Are you insecure about making choices without others' approval? As with sleep paralysis, the things that terrify you are mostly false projections, externalized feelings of uncertainty. Circumstances and people in your life may feel like sleep paralysis beings holding you down and scaring you away from new potentiality. If someone is trying to control you through fear, now is the time to break away from that dynamic. Some supposed healers speak of entities and other dimensional beings in order to control people through their fears. This strategy creates a dependent relationship with these individuals who may present themselves as the only ones who can clear these energies and entities from your field. If you have experienced this dynamic, now is the time to get honest with yourself. Just like the beings you see in the sleep paralysis state, people who prey upon your fears can only gain power over you if you give it to them. Break the habit of giving away your agency. Trust that you have the innate power to set boundaries. You can do this in both the dreaming and waking realms. When you tap into your abilities, your life takes on a lighter, more flexible character, and you can float through situations not weighed down by your dependence on others to make you feel safe or okay. In a larger context, this card signifies that you are on the edge of a thunderous and permanent shift. You are leaving behind the comfort of the known to be welcomed into new levels of empowerment. Through clearing old patterns, past wounds, and negative expectations, you are freed up to experience what it's like to be a courageous, lucid adventurer. Even if it feels as if you are at the mercy of external forces, know that you have a choice within yourself about how you react to these circumstances. I think that fits and makes sense, and I hope that was helpful for you as kind of a final message there. And let's get into the infinite prayer. So I want to write down an intention for you for group number 1. And my intention for you is, I'm going to write down, fall into the flow of the fertile darkness. I'm going to also add, you are safe. Yeah, like you are safe. Like this fertile darkness that you are falling into the flow of, it's all you. It's all you. Even with that like sleep paralysis and the entity and the, it's interesting because there could be fears that like being in such a vulnerable place could have fears of like other things coming in and encroaching in. But what if the darkness is you? And what if you're safe all along? And what if this is just an integration? And what if you're protected all along? Like I noticed there are 4 crows here. Oh my God, there are 5. That's so funny. It's so funny that I came back to this. There are 5 crows. 5 is a number of transformation and change. But earlier I thought there were 4, and that just told me you're secure in this process. You're safe in this process. You're protected in this process. And again, with the 10 of Swords and the 10 birds protecting you, I know you're safe in this change that you're walking through. Fall into the flow of it. You are safe. That is your main message. And I hope I see you over in the Infinite Prayer. Again, there's 50% off of your first month of Patreon for a few days after I post this reading. If not, just hit that subscribe, hit that bell so you'll be reminded and you don't miss your next opportunity for 50% off. But if you just want the Infinite Prayer Transmission one off, that is down below as well. And is this everything? Yes, I think so. Feel free to like, comment, or drop a flower emoji if this resonated. As always, I am honored by your presence, and I hope I see you over in Patreon, in the Infinite Prayer, or in another reading soon. Thank you so much. Bye. If you'd like to be supported more deeply through powerful energy healing transmissions that serve as monthly anchor points to keep you grounded and aligned to your most fulfilling path, along with access to a growing collection of exclusive soulful pick a flower readings. I'd be honored to have you in the sacred space of the Little Flower Patreon. My intention is for this space to be a spiritual lifeline to healing, clarity, and soul alignment, a sacred container that leaves you feeling free and safe to unfold into your most authentic and abundant nature. Each month in the Wellspring membership, I channel a theme or prompt for 2 new Pick a Flower readings, with one of those readings laying the foundation for what emerges in the Infinite Prayer. Using Reiki, prayer, intuitively guided affirmations, and a belief in miracles, I offer a new, powerful transmission each month. With the Overflow membership, receive everything in Wellspring, plus access to every new extended Infinite Prayer session drawn from monthly YouTube readings from October 2025 on. Click the link in the description box below if you feel called to explore. Feel free to like, comment, drop a flower emoji, or subscribe to The Little Flower. You may browse single Infinite Prayer transmissions, check out my adorable merch featuring my bee and flowers logo with the phrase, "Hello, lovely human," and leave me a tip or buy me a coffee if you feel called to. Last but not least, I have another YouTube channel called Soul Hearken, my heart and soul in video form. I'd be honored to have you over there as well. Everything you'll need is listed in the description box below. With so much gratitude, I send you prayers of happiness, peace, health, and wealth. You are honored and loved. Hello, lovely human. Welcome to the Little Flower. For today's reading, the prompt that came through is Dark Night of the Soul. Messages you need when you're in the thick of it. And for this reading, we are going to enter into the Infinite Prayer. And if you don't know already what the Infinite Prayer is, I'm going to put a little intro here so you can know more about that. And I will see you on the other side in your reading. Before we get into your reading, I'd love to share with you something that exists as a deeper extension of the Little Flower. Inspired by a dream I once had where the divine reminded me that her healing waters are overflowing and meant for everyone, I offer what I call the Infinite Prayer. Using holy fire Reiki, prayer, intuitively guided affirmations, and a belief in miracles, I channel a powerful transmission each month in the Little Flower Patreon. I also offer extended Infinite Prayer sessions that flow from select readings, including the one you're about to receive. If you feel called to go deeper, to tap into your own sacred, ever-flowing internal spring, always pure, always moving, always offering exactly what you need the moment you choose to return, then the Infinite Prayer or the Little Flower Patreon may be for you. I'll share more about this at the end if you feel called. Now, let's move into your reading. All right, thank you so much for watching that video about the Infinite Prayer and Patreon. Before we get into your reading, I want to mention that for a short window of time, there will be 50% off your first month of Patreon. There will be a code listed down below for that. And if you do sign up for the Overflow membership, it will include the Infinite Prayer transmission that is correlated with today's reading. And it is more inexpensive to go ahead and do that, and you gain access to a plethora of readings that you can just peruse through if you feel called to any of them. Check those out. A lot of Infinite Prayer transmissions are available as well. If you feel called to that, there's a link down below to the Infinite Prayer one-off, and there is a code down below for that 50% off. And if you did miss the 50% off, that is okay, because every month there is a little window of time to get it. Just hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and you won't miss the next one. So, okay, let's get into your reading. So, group number 2, you chose the Fuchsia Zinnia. Zinnias are symbolic of endurance, lasting friendship, and remembrance. And the fuchsia color for me is representative of your uniqueness, your authentic expression of who you are. Let's get into your cards. Actually, okay, I do want to talk a little bit about, if you didn't listen to my intro, I'm very familiar with the Dark Night of the Soul. My whole adult life, almost my whole adult life, I've been walking through 2 major dark nights of the souls that have lasted. Like the first one lasted years and years. And the second one, it's been a few years that I had to process like one very intense thing from my lineage. And so I do feel equipped to give you the messages you need while you're walking through your dark night of the soul. And again, listen to that intro if you haven't, if you want to learn more about mine. I didn't go into too much detail, but I did talk about my experience with the Dark Night of the Soul. But let's get into your cards. So the first one's coming from the Witch's Shadow Work Oracle, and your card is the Lightning Bolt. That's beautiful. We have someone in the ground. It looks like she's not dead. She's still alive. It feels like she's in a cocoon. And then we have someone up here with a veil over her face with a candle and crows, and her hair is linked and attached to a tree. And there's something here. It almost feels like there's an energy of tending to a part of yourself with grace and with love, and allowing this part of yourself to transform. And there's a sense of fertility. It's giving butterfly, or moth in the cocoon. That imagery was present in group number 1 as well. It makes a lot of sense because dark nights of the soul are very transformative experiences. There's a love coming through with this card. There's a tenderness coming through with this card. There's a knowing that you're exactly where you're meant to be. And if this isn't where you are yet, with this dark night of the soul experience, I promise you this is a potential. I see you, when embracing your experience and surrendering to it, finding love and ceremony and peace and even beauty in the experience. There's something here. It does feel like there could be some grief element to this, a letting go element, an acknowledgement and remembrance of what was, and knowing that the beauty of what was can never leave you, but the acknowledgement of the truth that it is over. So very beautiful. Let's go ahead and get into some more cards. So I'm going to pick a couple cards from the Cosmic Magic Oracle and see what kind of energies and elements, cosmic forces are at play right now in this experience for you. Okay, this one wants to come out. We have Gemini with curiosity. And there was some resistance around this card, but I just wanted to mention that. And then we have Mercury, wow, with communication. And I know Mercury rules the sign of Gemini, so that's very interesting. Number 3, number 19, curiosity and communication. Interesting. Let's get a couple more cards from the Flowers of the Night Oracle. And even with Lightning Bolt, it was making me think of the Ace of Swords. Very air element, mental element, just like Mercury and Gemini energy. Like it feels something communicating with you, like your intuition, but more than your intuition. It feels like a divine force giving you insight, or there's something there. We'll see. And wow, I wonder what this constellation is, because I want to show it to you. Actually, it's in the center of this telescope. I'm not sure what this constellation is. Oh, sorry, it's so small, and if I lift it up, oh, there we go. There's still light on it. It looks like 2 people holding hands, so I find that interesting. But it's on both cards. I'm going to Google it real quick. Okay, duh. It's Gemini with the twins. So, okay, so ultimate brotherhood, duality, and the complementary forces of mortality and divinity. The myth is these 2 brothers, Castor and Pollux, were the son of the Spartan queen Leda. Castor was the mortal son of the Spartan king, while Pollux was the divine, immortal son of Zeus. The 2 brothers were incredibly close. When Castor was finally wounded in battle, a heartbroken Pollux pleaded with Zeus to either let him die too or bring his brother back. Zeus struck a bargain, allowing the brothers to share Pollux's immortality, spending alternating days on Mount Olympus and in the underworld. Wow, interesting. So, duality and opposites, ultimate loyalty and brotherhood, guidance and protection. So it makes sense. This energy, we have the 2 women here, and it feels like there's a duality within you right now that's merging and that's coming into union and harmony. And again, if you don't feel it yet, this is the potential. there's something within you you're meant to, like, something you're meant to find such deep compassion and understanding for that perhaps in the past you misunderstood about yourself. Maybe some of you do have strong Gemini placements, and this could bring an understanding to what Gemini could really mean for you, like duality within you, two parts of you that are at odds, but they're not meant to be at odds. They're meant to be in deep reverence and love with one another. Like I'm seeing like a infinity symbol, like two parts of one whole in flow and in harmony. Beautiful. I love that. Like with communication and curiosity, it's like these two parts of you are going to finally be on board with each other and be curious about each other and work together to move forward in your life in a way that feels right. Like inner battles, like if you're someone who constantly has inner battles and you're fighting with your internal state, that can shift. You could come into inner harmony and work with all sides of you to live a life that feels most authentic to you. All right, so we have pleasure, belle de nuit, and we have freedom, Chilean jasmine. And we have two interesting creatures here. I think we have a sloth. I have no idea what that is. It looks like a meerkat, but little cute, quirky animals. But with freedom and pleasure, you are so meant to live the life of your dreams. You are so meant to be in full expression of all of who you are in this planet, living in a place that recognizes you, that uplifts you, being surrounded by people who recognize and honor all elements of who you are, who see you for who you are, and who love you for every single element of who you are. I'm seeing just all of these beautiful parts of you coming together and everything feeling harmonious and good and rooted and safe to be all of who you are. That is the potential of what you are walking through right now. As I speak, I feel like I see all of this meeting in the middle in one ball, and it feels like a dark ball of like intensity. So there might be, and even in that intensity, there might be battle and struggle and fight, but there's also the potential to, like, for passion and for love and for love making, you know, like it's like the duality of what's going on in there is meant to kind of alchemize into something so beautiful and perfect. But I think there's like, there's a starkness to you, like there's an intensity or it's like a taking up space. Like I feel like there's a part of you that really wants to take up space and be seen and just be in the world and plant their stake in the world, plant their stake in something. Like there's a part of you that really wants to be present. And I think I wonder if there's a fight there. I wonder if maybe there's another part of you that's been repressing, I think, that part of you, like a part of you that really wants to make waves or create change, or we had this symbology or this understanding in the last reading about how potentially there could be a part of you fear because of perhaps what they did in that element of you, if not in a healed state, if not in an understood state, in a harmonized state, could cause destruction. It's like a wave-making part of you. But in a harmonized state, in an understood state, in a balanced state, where that part of you is honoring the part of you that wants order, and then the part of you that wants order is honoring the part of you that is a powerful creator and change maker on this planet, and in your own life, even in the way you want to create your life and what you want to build in your life. Those two parts of you are coming into harmony. So, okay, I want to get some tarot to get a little bit more understanding here. Like, it doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both. And both sides of you can work together. In fact, it's natural that they work together. It doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't have to be a fight for control. One doesn't have to control the other. There's an honoring and respect that wants to occur within you. Yes, 5 of Swords. That makes perfect sense. I think there's been an inner fight. Like a rebellious part of you that wants to fight the orderly, controlled, safety-seeking part of you, or an orderly, controlled, safety-seeking part of you that is trying to hold down and repress a rebellious part of you. It is not one or the other. It is both. Yes, 6 of Pentacles is balance and harmony. 5 of Cups. Right. You can't have contentment without both of these sides of you being fully expressed. Okay. The Moon is about duality too. You have the Moon card here. And we have the dark wolf and the light wolf. It kind of feels like a balancing of your feminine and masculine within as well. The masculine being more analytic and more, for lack of better words, controlling, like wanting things to be in order. The feminine being more chaotic and creative and uncontrollable, you know, unkempt, uncouth, you know, whatever the wording may be for you. More wild, more free, more colorful, and more what's the word? I'm trying to think of a word for some reason. Like unpredictable. These two elements, and when they're in conflict, or when they're imbalanced, ultimately it causes this 5 of Cups energy, which is a feeling of disappointment with your life, or a feeling of like, I'm missing something. There's something I'm missing, because it is such a part of you that you're repressing, or a part of you that you're trying to control, or a part of you that you're rebelling against, that is meant to be loved within you. And so whatever side of the spectrum you're on, whether you're in the side of you that wants to keep things controlled and predictable, or you're in the side that is ready to rebel and just set fire to everything, neither one of those extremes are going to be beneficial for you right now. And the only thing that can move you forward right now is this inner harmony and this inner understanding of these two elements of you. This 8 of Wands is saying to me that there's opportunity for quick change, like for the energy surrounding your circumstances right now, or this inner fight right now, to change swiftly. So what this tells me is, I kind of feel like if we're talking about the dark night of the soul, this feels like a final integration after a long experience of a dark night of the soul. An inner harmonizing within like two extremes of you. And once you process, it's like a reunion within you. Once you merge these two elements, your life can transform so quickly, because the inner power that you gain from this inner union, from this trusting in who you are in all elements of you, understanding who you are in these two extremes, becoming friends within, becoming sisters within, brothers within, becoming a union within, and working together, is going to change everything. Instead of battling yourself the whole way and not being able to make any choices to move forward because you've got these two elements within you that are opposing one another, but you love them both, and it's like you're stuck in the middle. But they can communicate. Wow, yes, communication and curiosity here. They can communicate with one another. This lightning bolt energy with these two elements. One doesn't have to be in the ground. And one, like, if you look at this imagery, it's like one doesn't have to be put away. You both can be online together. This is making me understand Gemini a lot more. I'm not super into astrology, but I've always known, of course, everybody knows Gemini is the twins, or the two sides, but it's like in that duality and in that harmony within, it's totally making me understand it. Yeah, way differently. This is about self-love. Finally putting your weapons down and just being free together. This is interesting because it's making me think of sisterhood, and it's making me think of, like, I mean, I'm not going to say we've all been through this as women, but that competitive energy between women. I experienced it a lot in high school. I was like that in high school. Like, I'll admit, I was competitive with my friends, and I always wanted to, like, look the best, or, I know I had that in me. I know I did. And some of the stuff I was doing so unconsciously, and as an adult, I look back and I cringe, and I'm just like, wow, like, no wonder that girl hated me, But I could see a healing like this occurring within, and it totally shifting your availability to be more supportive and loving and understanding towards other people in your life. It's just giving like sisterhood energy, brotherhood energy. It's giving like connection and unity. It's giving like an integration in the whole. Like, if you find this inner integration, you're able to more effortlessly integrate into like sisterhood with others, into brotherhood with others, like into even union with another. Like, this inner union has to occur within you first before you can feel fully able to feel in unity with like the rest of humanity in a way. And feel free to be all of who you are and feel loved and accepted for all of who you are. Because if there are two opposing sides within you that are not accepting each other, then how on earth are you going to feel like there's like both sides of you don't feel accepted within you? So it's so hard from that place to feel accepted within the greater whole, to feel accepted within the human family. This is a profound healing, and you are on the brink of it. It is coming to a head right now in your life. If you've been on a long journey of loneliness, on a long journey of like disappointment in your life and feeling disconnected, you are at the brink of harmony and connection. You're at the brink of understanding your part in the greater whole. You really are. And it just, even with that constellation of the two twins holding hands, it's like this inner unity allows you to reach out and find unity in your community. So I never really thought about the reality that community has unity in it. That's corny and weird, but so yeah, it's like hard to give you practical advice for this because I wonder if there's been wounding in the past. Ooh. Because while I've been talking about this, and when I first came to the reading, there was this gentle energy I felt I needed to exude, and even like I was approaching someone who was like mournful or processing grief, and then it got into this message about that inner unity. And now I'm kind of pulling myself, like I'm being pulled into this Nine of Swords energy. It's talking like this woman looks very upset. It's her fears, her anxieties. And then it's next to the Six of Pentacles, where two people are giving and receiving from one another equally. And I wonder for you if there have been times when you overgave in the past, or where you were taken advantage of, or where you were misunderstood or hurt by others. And that could have contributed to this inner wounding around unity and harmony with others. That could have contributed to a severing of something within you, because perhaps the part of you that trusted others, that reached out to others, that gave to others, and it was open-hearted and receptive, and from that place was hurt for no reason, taken advantage of, misunderstood, not given the benefit of the doubt, I could see how that would cause an inner cracking. Because you could even see that part of you that reaches out and wants to be seen and that really wants to connect as a vulnerable part of you or as a weak part of you. That could even be a side of you that you want to keep order and control around. You want to make sure that that side of you isn't exposed to pain again. And in doing so, that side of you could be cast into a shadow. The moon card's making me think of casting that part of you into a shadow and just keeping that order and structure alive. But like when it's in the shadow, when it's not up in front and center and a part of things, it could be left to its own devices, and there could be something you go unseen, like how do I put this into words? That part of you is more vulnerable when you're not working with that part of you. That's my point. When you cast it aside and say, I'm going to take control, then that's when that part of you unconsciously attracts you to, like if you're seeing that part of you as weak and as attracting you to the wrong energies or as vulnerable to hurt, so you're locking it away in the corners of your being, then that's what it will be. Weak, vulnerable to hurt. But when you reunite with that part of you and let them exist as an ever-flowing, pervasive part of your experience of life, having a say in how you live your life, alongside this part of you that keeps yourself checked and keeps yourself safe and assesses for potential danger, that's when you find that middle ground, and that's when you're aligned and attracted to the right energies. Having control over things is just as dangerous as letting that part of you that just trusts anyone and everyone and wants to connect have full reign. All of you has to be together, understanding one another. Like that logical, analytical side of you that can scan for red flags, that can scan for, like there are things that logical side of you needs to have in their awareness, so that this beautiful, vulnerable, connected, intuitive, I don't even know how to describe that part of you. It's just it's an integral part of who you are and how you connect and how you feel about yourself. It's such a purposeful part of you, because it's the part of you that just is and is loved for just being who you are. The part of you that loves, the part of you that gives, the part of you that cares. It's who you are. And then that more mothering or fathering part of you that's protective and wants everything to turn out well, and it's almost like you've just been being this overprotective mother or father that's trying to control this vulnerable part of you, when that doesn't work. You have to let that part of you have a life of their own and be free. So I hope that this is all making sense. This is so interesting. But yeah, it is interesting because the vulnerable side, as I'm speaking, feels like on my left, and then as I'm speaking about and they do say like your left side is more intuitive, feminine, and right side is more masculine, logical, and that's kind of how I'm feeling it and seeing it right now. But again, I mean, it's almost like I want to give you advice on harmonizing this, like finding this inner unity, but there's nothing there. Well, I don't know if there's much I can say. What am I supposed to say to you other than, like, listen to your soul. Stop repressing certain parts of you. And again, maybe some of you are on the other side where you're allowing that vulnerable side of you to just barrel through, or that feminine side of you, like, to just take these unnecessary risks or these crazy risks or ignore red flags. Like, you could be on that side too. And in that case, you need to listen to the part of you that's protective and logical. There are times when you're getting signs of this is not the right place to go. This is not the right person to trust. And you might not. And you say, no, but I feel love here, so I'm following this. And you regret it. You end up in a place where you're hurt. So, very dynamic. I think I'm just meant to shine light on this for you, because I don't really feel like I have universal advice for this. Like, there's nothing coming through with that. It just feels like you need awareness, like this lightning bolt energy. You just need to see it. Because once you see it, this imbalance, you'll know how to move forward. And I think the most important thing is just recognizing these parts of yourself and sending love to both of them. And seeing if you can find a conversation between the two, an understanding within of the necessary components of who you are. Not even just necessary. I mean, they're necessary for intimacy, for union, for connection, but they're integral to who you are. They're just inevitable to who you are. They're integral parts of who you are. So they're not something that I'm saying is necessary that you can just employ, but they're living, breathing parts of who you are that are so beautiful and harmonious and meant to work together. So yeah, okay. Is there anything else within these cards, or do we want to move? I kind of want to reiterate one more time. Eight of Wands is kind of speaking to me that this inner unity is going to change your life for good. And it's going to make, again, swift changes. I promise you that. It's going to give you the strength, the rootedness, the bravery to move forward on your journey to connection and intimacy and union with others or with another, with confidence and power and strength and still vulnerability at the same time. Still, like, it just feels so beautiful. Like this, it's like a beautiful raw part of you that's fully robust at the same time and existing in the world in this beautiful, robust way. So that's like your potential right now. And it's like soon. It's just this inner shift that needs to occur. So, okay, let's get into our final card. I'm pulling from the Lucid Dreaming, Lucid Living Oracle. And this oracle talks a lot about lucid dreaming. But I like the idea of lucid dreaming is kind of like what we're doing as human beings, because we're kind of awake in the dream, so to speak. Like when you're a spiritual being and you have like an awakening, you're like, whoa, there's so much more than this physical reality. So you can kind of use the lucid dreaming element as symbology for real life. Oh my goodness, messy. Okay, but one card flew on the ground, so that's the one we're gonna get. Okay, so we have number 8 with the void. We're gonna read from the guidebook. 8 and 8 of Wands. I love that my final message was drawing from the 8 of Wands, and then we have 8 again. 8 is a number of abundance, expansion, overflow. I'm telling you, you have a shift ahead of you once you find this inner unity and this inner harmony. Like there's going to be such strength within you and courage within you. And as I'm saying this, I'm looking up at the Queen of Wands calendar that I have right here. And Queen of Wands is confidence, living in your power. And I do see you stepping into that, knowing who you are, knowing what you want, going after it, being unafraid, knowing you can't get hurt because you have this like internal protective system in place, and it's just robust and beautiful. Okay, so The void. The dreamer rests in the void, surrounded by the whole reality of cosmic creation and form. She is of the world and yet not in it. Patiently, she recharges in the absolute nothingness of the void and waits to be birthed anew back into ordinary reality. So I'm going to read the lucid living message. The womb of creation is calling you back, enveloping you in the primordial darkness. Don't be afraid of these spaces with no light. Retreat into yourself and be still. Silence is your best friend at the moment. Take this time to rest and recharge. You have the opportunity to delve into a journey of introspection. When you return to the emptiness from which all life springs, you are in a place of pure potentiality. No thingness is a state of where anything is possible because no one thing has yet taken form. In the state of embryonic formation, all that you hope, dream, and imagine can spring to life. Therefore, it is wise to watch your thoughts and where you are focusing your attention right now. Be mindful of what you bring into form through the power of creation. Are you focused on powerful visions of what could be or fearful worst-case scenarios? You will not instantly manifest anything you think of into waking reality. But you may gravitate subconsciously towards situations you don't actually want if you let yourself get carried away with negative fixations. We are often afraid of the darkness because we are unsure of what is contained within it. We fear that villains may be lurking just out of sight. That's why we illuminate every nook and cranny with nightlights and streetlights, chasing away the darkness and expelling it from our culture. Sadly, we can no longer see the stars because we pollute our nighttime skies with excessive light. But just as monsters may lurk in the darkness can also bring magical allies. Have you pushed the darkness out of your life, leaving only room for the light? If so, retreat inside yourself and turn off the distracting lights of positivity. Seek out the dark corners of yourself and examine the mysteries hidden there. The void is a paradox. It may appear to be a force of darkness that destroys. However, it is also the glue that holds everything together, the birthplace of all that exists. Allow yourself to study the paradox. As Lao Tzu tells us in the Tao Te Ching, mystery and reality emerge from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness born from darkness, the beginning of all understanding. Okay, so there could be, for some of you, it could be more extreme than others. There could be this feeling of letting something, if you've really truly cast like a side of yourself or a part of yourself into the dark, it could be something within you that's, if you haven't touched that side of you or listened to that side of you in a long time, it could be scary. There could be literal, we have the 9 of Swords here. That's about fears, nightmares. It's about, like, it could be a scary process to reintegrate an element of you back into yourself so you're whole again, so you're protected again, so there's no part of you that's unconsciously running the show. And I feel like you're ready. You're ready to face these parts of you with this new awareness of and understanding that it's because of whatever you've cast into the darkness, because you see it as something other than what it is. It has morphed into a fearful state within you. But if you just sit with it and be with it and listen to it and wait for this insight to come in, we have this lightning bolt energy. Wait for the truth to hit you. It will come like a lightning bolt, and that integration can occur immediately. 8 of Wands makes me think of a lightning bolt. Like, I just feel like this inner integration could occur so quickly, but it's almost like you have to face what's within you first. You have to be with this fertile dark energy, even in your fear, even if it's a fear of a part of who you are, and let the lightning bolt come in and show you the truth of it so you may integrate it and understand it more deeply. So, okay. All right, group number 2. This was your reading. Let's get into the infinite prayer now. I'm going to write down an intention for your group for the infinite prayer. And I'm going to write, be with what is within you. The truth will come to light. Okay, that is your intention for the infinite prayer transmission. If you feel called to it, there is a link down below for the one-off session. If you're here within the first few days of when I post this reading, there is a 50% off code for 50% off your first month of Patreon. If you get the Overflow membership, you'll gain access to the infinite prayer for this reading. It actually is going to be more inexpensive to do it that way. than to buy the Infinite Prayer one off. Either way, if you did miss the window of opportunity, again, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to be notified of when I post, so that way you don't miss another opportunity. So thank you so much for being here, guys. As always, I am honored by your presence, and I hope I see you in the Infinite Prayer transmission over on Patreon or in another reading soon. Thank you so much. Bye. If you'd like to be supported more deeply through powerful energy healing transmissions that serve as monthly anchor points to keep you grounded and aligned to your most fulfilling path, along with access to a growing collection of exclusive soulful pick a flower readings, I'd be honored to have you in the sacred space of the Little Flower Patreon. My intention is for this space to be a spiritual lifeline to healing, clarity, and soul alignment. A sacred container that leaves you feeling free and safe to unfold into your most authentic and abundant nature. Each month in the Wellspring membership, I channel a theme or prompt for 2 new Pick a Flower readings, with one of those readings laying the foundation for what emerges in the Infinite Prayer. Using Reiki, prayer, intuitively guided affirmations, and a belief in miracles, I offer a new, powerful transmission each month. With the Overflow membership, receive everything in Wellspring plus access to every new extended Infinite Prayer session drawn from monthly YouTube readings from October 2025 on. Click the link in the description box below if you feel called to explore. Feel free to like, comment, drop a flower emoji, or subscribe to The Little Flower. You may browse single Infinite Prayer transmissions, check out my adorable merch featuring my bee and flowers logo with the phrase "Hello, lovely human," and leave me a tip or buy me a coffee if you feel called to. Last but not least, I have another YouTube channel called Soul Hearken, my heart and soul in video form. I'd be honored to have you over there as well. Everything you'll need is listed in the description box below. With so much gratitude, I send you prayers of happiness, peace, health, and wealth. You are honored and loved. Hello, lovely human. Welcome to The Little Flower. For today's reading, the prompt that came through is Dark Night of the Soul. Messages you need when you're in the thick of it. So my intention for this reading is to give you the comfort that you need, the tools that you need to help you when you're walking through an experience that may be heavier or more intense, or even the dark night of your soul. I have been through 2 distinct dark nights of the soul, one that lasted probably 8 years and one that has lasted about 3 years, and I'm on the other side of it now. And so I feel equipped to be able to do this for you, to be able to channel a message like this. And my hope and prayer is that you just receive exactly what you need in this moment, at this time in your life. And please take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and let's go ahead and get into it. Well, I guess before we get into it, I do want to mention that we are entering into the Infinite Prayer. And if you don't know what the Infinite Prayer is, I'm going to put up this short and sweet intro, and I will see you on the other side. Before we get into your reading, I'd love to share with you something that exists as a deeper extension of the Little Flower. Inspired by a dream I once had where the divine reminded me that her healing waters are overflowing and meant for everyone, I offer what I call the Infinite Prayer. Using holy fire Reiki, prayer, intuitively guided affirmations, and a belief in miracles, I channel a powerful transmission each month in the Little Flower Patreon. I also offer extended Infinite Prayer sessions that flow from select readings, including the one you're about to receive. If you feel called to go deeper, to tap into your own sacred, ever-flowing internal spring, always pure, always moving, always offering exactly what you need the moment you choose to return, then the Infinite Prayer or the Little Flower Patreon may be for you. I'll share more about this at the end if you feel called. Now, let's move into your reading. Thank you so much for watching that intro about the Infinite Prayer and Patreon. Before we get into your reading, I want to mention for a short window, I do have the opportunity to get 50% off of your first month of Patreon membership. So there's a code down below. If you missed the window, don't worry. I offer something every single month. So hit that subscribe, hit that bell if you feel called to. and you won't miss another opportunity. But nonetheless, there is, if you want the infinite prayer transmission, if you feel called to it at the end of this reading, there is a link down below to that if you just want to buy that one off as well. So again, oh, I forgot to mention, you have to do the overflow membership to get access to the infinite prayer transmission for this reading. So the overflow includes all the YouTube transmissions, the ones that are correlated off of YouTube readings. And then the other one is more the transmissions that are just in Patreon. So all of that being said, let's go ahead and get into your reading. So you chose group number 3 with the pastel pink zinnia. And zinnias are symbolic of endurance, lasting friendship, and remembrance. Pastel pink is a color of the higher heart. It's a color of unconditional love. It makes me think of a mothering energy like Mother Mary. So that could be relevant in this reading, we'll see. But let's go ahead and just get into your cards. So your first card is from the Witch's Shadow Work Oracle, and it is the sibling. Okay, so there are, for some reason I feel it's significant, the amount of birds that are on this. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 birds. Okay, it is significant because 17 is the number of the star card in tarot. And the star card in tarot is representative of hope, of renewal, of, in the context of what we're talking about today, which is the dark night of the soul, it's giving me that light, that North Star that you follow in the midst of the dark night of the soul, that you follow in the midst of something that's intense or scary or heavy. And it's that thing that gives you hope. It's that thing that gives you faith in the renewal, in the healing on the other side of things. The thing that tells you this is worth it. This is worth walking through. That's the energy. And with the energy here of the sibling, and we have 2 foxes in the grass here. One is black and one is gray, and it's kind of giving that duality. And I feel like the readings are kind of interlacing into one another as we go along, because we did have some symbolism of duality in the last reading. And we have 2 women here as well, holding hands, and there's a full moon, which is a symbol of completion. And so there's an inner harmony. There's a feeling of inner harmony between different elements of who you are. There's a feeling of acceptance for what has been, and there's a feeling of love for the human journey, a feeling of, I know this is hard, but I know also it is a privilege to be human right now, even through the depths of winter. It is a privilege to be here, so I'm going to embrace this period that I'm in, just as winter is necessary for spring to come. I'm going to embrace this winter of my soul as something that is necessary for new life, for rebirth, for healing, for integration, for wholeness to occur within my being. That's the initial feeling. So I'm going to pull more cards. We're going to pull cards from the Cosmic Magic Oracle. And I just want to say, if this has been really hard for you, I'm really sorry. I witness you in the heaviness of it, because as I'm sitting here, I feel a gravitational pull. Like I feel a heaviness. It's like something that it feels like depression. Like it feels like something that, like, depression isn't something you can just switch off. And I was also getting this feeling of someone existing in the world with depression and other people just wanting them to snap out of it, and you being like, I can't just snap out of it. Like, you don't, like, just people not understanding what exactly they're going through, and whether you are dealing with depression or you have in the past, that's being nodded to, and there's an energy of understanding for the process that you're walking through. And what I'm seeing is a society, like in an ideal society, an ideal environment, an ideal community, ideal friends and family that would be around someone in this state. It would be this honoring of what you are walking through, a complete support and nurturing and sending of love constantly, no matter how much you fail to show up in the way that maybe you hope you could, or in the way that you think others expect you to. There is an acknowledgement of just how difficult what you're walking through is, and the weight of it, and a love for you no matter where you're at, an embracing of you no matter where you're at, a loving of you no matter where you're at, what you're walking through, what fears you hold, what darkness surrounds you. There's love there. You are loved in all of it. And so that's the first feeling that's coming through. Okay, I'm going to pull a couple cards from the Cosmic Magic Oracle. And we're going to see kind of, with this, my intention is to see what elements are at play in your life and energies, like cosmic forces that are kind of at play in your specific circumstances right now. And we have, wow, Aries with beginning. Ooh, I love that for you. I love that for you because Aries would be a very powerful force for you. And wow, we were talking about accepting and embracing the barrenness that you're walking through and loving yourself through it and knowing it's necessary for spring to come. And Aries is spring. And Aries is this card of fiery... Well, for some reason I heard the word indignation, but it's like a fiery motivational force. And that is what would be so powerful for someone who's dealing with a heaviness or a weight, because that force could be the thing that breaks through the thickness of, I guess, the walls that are around you. Or I'm just seeing someone who's like fed up and they're done and they're fighting and they're moving and they're like energized and they have this like fire under their ass to just overcome. And again, no pressure for like you to be like this in any way when you're in the thick of it, but it could be something that gives you hope. Like one day this light could be lit within you to overcome. It might not be now, but one day you could find this strength within. Okay, let's keep going. We have Virgo with clearing as well. And there's a woman like clearing the energy in her home, clearing out negative energy. So that's interesting. Number 6 and number 1. Pull a couple cards from the Flowers of the Night Oracle. So Virgo is an energy of no stone left unturned. Like it's very detail oriented, and it's making me think of someone who's going through like a clearing process and being sure that the chapter is closed for good. Like we're making sure every nook and cranny is taken care of. Every stone is overturned to make sure that we have not left anything out. We are wrapping up this cycle in a neat little bow and we are moving on. Like it feels like a true ending. We have balance. And I did think of balance with the number 6, but there's chocolate flower. That's interesting. And then we have transformation with angel's trumpet. And there's a bat on this card. And this looks like, I don't know what that is, but it almost looks like some sort of beehives. I don't know what that is. So, angel's trumpet, transformation. This is interesting that we have chocolate flower and then we have this bat with his tongue out, like he's getting nectar out of the flower. And it made me think of like finding little pleasures, like when you're in the midst of darkness or weight, like finding these little things that bring, even if it's chocolate, or it could even be, I wonder if, some of you, it could be like the counterbalancing energy to what you're going through has been an indulgence in something. And again, no judgment, no pressure, like complete understanding. And for me, they're like, I've always thought of coping mechanisms. While of course they could become unhealthy, they also are necessary at times for people to truly like the word is cope, right? There could be extreme trauma that like someone's not ready to face. And if they were to face the trauma in that moment in their life, it would be something that they couldn't manage. And with this theme coming up right now, I want to give you, like, if you are processing with coping mechanisms, I want to give you an understanding of what that coping mechanism is that's more positive. Because adding judgment onto yourself for having coping mechanisms when you've been through something really traumatic or you're walking through something really traumatic is not going to serve you. But being grateful for the coping mechanism is. Being grateful for it is, and it doesn't mean it's here to stay. It doesn't mean the coping mechanism itself is going to be like, it's going to overtake you and cause some horrible problem in your life. As long as you are following that North Star, holding on to that hope, and continuing to move forward, even though it's scary and dark and heavy and intense, as long as you hold on to that thread of hope, please just be grateful for the coping mechanism while they're there, because they're helping you through it. And one day you may not need them anymore, and that's beautiful. And you'll have that moment where it's time to, I'm feeling chills as I'm saying this, you will have that moment when it's time to let go of them. But for now, it's okay. I promise you it's okay. Just hold on to that hope, hold on to that faith, hold on to the knowing that you can get, I don't even want to call it get better. That's not even like get better. Like, there's all this weird pressury symbolism, I think, coming in, and it could be encroaching in from the world around you. It's not about getting better. It's about loving yourself through it. That's all. It's about loving yourself through it and knowing you're meant to heal, and knowing you're meant for good things, and knowing that it's not always going to be this way. Change is inevitable. That's the nature of life, and you are the light as you walk through the dark, even if it doesn't feel like it. Even if it feels like you're inundated, you are the light. Your love is the light. Okay, I'm going to pull some tarot cards from the Light Seers Tarot. And while, like, I was kind of saying this at the beginning of the reading, like, I do feel equipped to give a shadow work reading, but I will say I can never venture to guess what someone's going through. I'm sure I've never been through what you've been through. All I can say is that I'm a human being and I've been through some shit, and as far as depression goes, I can't say that I've been through, I know I haven't been through the thickness and the weight of what depression really is. My side has been more on the like extreme anxiety and fear energy and elements. So again, I want to acknowledge that I could never understand if you've been through depression or going through it. Like, I know I don't 100% understand. But I think what I've learned by knowing someone who has gone through it, and by having my own regrets of how I handled it, I can at least acknowledge that you can't just snap out of it, and you can't, like, I have to honor you in where you're at. So, yeah, let's get into the tarot. Okay, so 9 of Wands. Knight of Cups, interesting. Page of Pentacles. Ooh, I like that this Judgment card is here. I'm going to scooch these over. The Moon. The Ten of Swords. And the Three of Swords. Yep. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Cups, and I feel as though it wants to be present. And under that one was the Ace of Pentacles. I'm not going to put it up here, but Ace of Pentacles is a new beginning. You do have the Aries energy here, number 1, with beginning. And Ace of Cups is a new beginning as well, but it's more emotional in nature as opposed to material. So that's really symbolic here. Again, and then we do have the Ten of Swords, which is a card of endings and new beginnings. So the message that there is an end to the heaviness you're walking through is so prevalent. Like the message that this isn't forever, this is temporary, is so prevalent, because there could be a part of you that just feels like this is the way it is. Like maybe it's been so long that you've been dealing with it that it feels like this is just the way it is. And there could be literal parts of your nervous system that just believe that and are wired to think that because they're in survival mode. So they think, okay, this is the way it is, so I have to live my life that in this state, and I have to protect myself in this state in some way. And there could be we do have transformation here that's occurring within your being, and a potential for transformation within your being that is meant to be allowed. The fact that things can change is meant to be allowed. We do have judgment here as well, which is resurrection, freedom, release, awakening, spiritual awakening, a crackening, the potential for profound change. I know that this is confusing. It can be confusing and overwhelming, painful, scary, heavy. Wow, and we have the Page of Pentacles, which is so similar to the Ace of Pentacles, but it's like the page is the person involved as opposed to the external circumstance or offer or, new beginning. It's the one who begins. And that is you, the one who begins. I see you taking a new step in your life. I see you stepping into healing, stepping into expansion, stepping into truth. The sibling as your central card is making me think of reaching out for support. And that being a moment of change for you. And that's going to look differently for everyone. It's going to be how you feel called to reach out for support. And that could be something that you take baby steps with. Like I could say, you could call a therapist and make an appointment for a therapist. Or you could literally just like go online anonymously in a forum and talk about what you've been going through in an anonymous way that feels safe. It could be talking to your mom or your dad or a literal sibling. It says the sibling. But I think there are people who will honor you in your place, and you're meant to open your heart and your soul up to them. And even if you don't know who these people are just yet, or who this person is just yet, if you just open that up in your heart, like there is support for me and there is an external reflection that will help me heal, or that will help me feel like I'm not alone in this, or something like that. It's like if you just open your heart up to it, you'll be led to the right place, and you'll have this internal nudging at the time that it's time, to open up. And in any capacity. I mean, literally, it's not like you're just going out and like to a support group, and maybe you will feel called to do that, but like say you're going to a support group and you're like sharing and overspilling everything to a whole group. It doesn't mean you have to do that. It could literally be like the tiniest, like like I'm just seeing someone at the grocery store and reaching out to someone to say you like their shirt, or like it just feels like a hand reaching out, like just a connection, like a connection made that's simple. And that being something that opens up pathways in your being to new territory, and for support and love to flood into your space. I hope that makes sense. It feels like an internal thing that occurs first, and then the external opportunity presents itself, and you take it, or maybe you don't that moment and you take it the next time. But as long as like you have that opening of like support is available to me, love is available to me, and I'm open to that, like that's step one. 9 of Wands is about endurance. It's about like a push, again with that Aries energy, like a push, like a fire lit to overcome something. That's very prevalent here. So this opening your heart up to support or to love, to like a witness, feels like an open-hearted thing. That could be the door that opens up to the energy that needs to flood in for you to access this inner fire, this inner light to overcome. I'm definitely curious about this Knight of Cups. It's so romantic looking. And there's this man with roses, and he's got like a picnic ready, and there's a little letter next to the picnic basket. And it's like something awaiting you on the other side of this. That's the feeling, like love awaiting you on the other side of this, or freedom with the horse. It feels like freedom awaiting you. The other side of this is such, fluidity and flow and freedom, color and peace, simplicity though at the same time. There's this feeling of like simple beauty. Art, Knight of Cups makes me think of art. Art could be an open door for you as well. In whatever form you would create art, or you would maybe observe art and take in art, that could be an open door. Could speak to you in ways that other things, like, I feel like what's going to speak to you the most is more like, we have the moon here. It's more like etheric in nature and subconscious in nature. So going to art exhibits or taking in art, watching films that are beautifully made, or however that, like going in nature is art, taking in the beauty of something that's that you can't put words to, might be something that speaks to your soul in a really profound subconscious way that helps to bring you hope and helps to bring light into your world. There could be art that makes you feel not so alone. Oh wow, and that's interesting. I looked up at the camera timer and it said 2442, and that's a mirroring energy. And so that is very relevant for what I was just saying. Like, art could mirror back to you what you're going through and give you this feeling of, again, I am not alone. That's interesting. And then the fact, just with these two sisters next to each other, that's very mirroring as well. Yeah, and I love that you have this pastel pink zinnia, because I do see it like being a heart, and again with the Three of Swords and the heart pain here, and I literally use the word crackening, but it feels like you're an open heart. It feels like you're opening your heart up to something, and love is coming in, and it's unconditional, like acceptance and love for where you are, who you are, where you're at, and that's going to heal you. And that could come from art. It could come from taking in art, taking in nature. Like, nature could be a mother for you. Nature could be a healing element, like a healing environment for you as well. Nature is unconditional love. Takes you in where you're at. The heart, it really feels like most of the wound here, or the heaviness here, is of the heart. And so it may be scary to open your heart to others when it's carrying so much weight, but or opening your heart up in general, to healing when all that weight exists there. It may feel vulnerable, but it feels like that's the way. I mean, even look at this card. Wow. The Judgment card. It's like she's opening her heart, and this freedom is coming of that. Renewal. And literally, I do feel called with the Judgment card to talk about resurrection. Like it feels like on the other side of this is a feeling of resurrection. Like, I feel like I've been reborn. I feel like I'm rising from a grave. I feel like I was somewhere so heavy, and now I'm rising out of it. Like, that's the feeling that awaits you when you push through, when you don't give up hope, and you keep following that little light within. All right, so let's see if there's anything else here. The Strength. Wow, like this Nine of Wands card, look at her. She looks so powerful. It's like she's been through hell, but she knows who she is, and she knows that she can overcome anything. And that's the feeling, like, I know that having gone through this, I can do anything from this place. The fire element feels so strong for you. Like this awakening that happens and this fire gets lit in you, and you know who you are, and you know how strong you are, and you know how powerful you are, and you know what you can face in this life and overcome in this life. It's beautiful. All right, so I'm going to pull one final card from the Lucid Dreaming Oracle, and this card is like, lucid dreaming is when you're awake in a dream, and I kind of want you to, if there's any talk in the guidebook about like lucid dreaming itself, I'm kind of having you like apply it to real life, because I feel like when we do go through an awakening in life, and you do have the Judgment card here, it feels like we're awake in a dream. You know, it feels like we've awakened, like we've been experiencing illusion and now we're awake and we can see clearly. So that's kind of like the symbolism of the lucid dreaming. But let's see what card you get, and I will get the message from the guidebook. Okay, interesting. Wow, as we're talking about awakening in the Judgment card, this is interesting. 12 with false awakening. And there's someone sitting in clouds here, out looking a window. And there's a galaxy outside of their window. Okay, let's just see. Let's just read. What's the message? The dreamer sits up in her bed, thinking she's awake. However, the scene outside her window suggests otherwise. She has found herself in a convincing illusion rather than a solid reality. So we're going to read the lucid living message. This card warns you that things are not as they appear. Upon closer examination, you may find that you are in an illusion of your own making. False awakenings can signify moments when the ego tricks you into believing you are farther along in your journey than you are. Humility is key to authentic growth. Being dishonest with yourself or others can become a habitual way of avoiding painful truths. Face this directly and stop fooling yourself into thinking everything is okay. Accomplished spiritual teachers are often recognized by their lack of pretension. In many Eastern religions, students are discouraged from becoming prideful and getting attached to the abilities they gain in the lucid realms. As you progress in your abilities in life, try to remain unpretentious. It's exciting to tap into realms and knowledge beyond waking reality, but you need to stay grounded in this reality. Don't lose touch with the responsibilities and boundaries of your daily life. It's time to check in with yourself honestly and see if there are areas of your life where you've started to look down on others or have avoided accountability. The messages of this card can also apply to someone else in your life whom you admire, a teacher, a boss, or a friend. Study the behavior of these people closely now. Are their actions aligned with their words? If you are following their lead right now, make sure you like the direction they are taking you. The ego can take even those who hold a great deal of knowledge and prestige off course, and you may be in danger of getting sidetracked from your own purpose and growth. This card can warn of an untrustworthy magician archetype. People in your life may be using sleight of hand to make you believe they have powers beyond what they possess. When you experience a false awakening in a dream, it can be terribly disorienting because you were going along thinking you were in waking reality when you were still asleep. Are you trapped in an illusion about your mundane reality? Have you convinced yourself that everything is okay when truthfully something is off? This is not the time to go back to sleep and deny what is bothering you. Don't let your ego or pride make you hide your true feelings from others, and especially not from yourself. Harness the power of the false awakening to wake up to what is going on. It's all right there in front of you. Gain a level of lucidity by paying close attention to your surroundings. Study each interaction carefully. You can become a student of the moment when you open yourself to the magic of seeing things with fresh eyes. Interesting. That is not what I would have expected for you, but take what resonates on that and leave what doesn't. Some of that might not be relevant for all of you. I'm kind of getting that feeling, but there are nuggets in it that could be relevant for some of you, and then maybe some of you needed to hear the whole thing. It's talking a lot about humility. It's talking a lot about being honest with where you're at. What I would take from that, if I was giving you advice based on that message, and I've been through this myself, where I've had awakenings in my life, like of all the abundance I'm meant to have, of the life I'm meant to have, like the partner I'm meant to manifest. And it felt so like right there at my fingertips, like all of it. And this is my biggest awakening I had was in 2021, and it's 2026 now. And so in that 2021 energy, I was like, wow, I can manifest this at the drop of a dime. I am so powerful. And I could have all of this done in 6 months. I could rise to this. It felt like I was so lucid in it, and it felt so real. And it is real. Like that potential is real. The awakening is real. But that like the humility element comes when it's like, okay, and I didn't even realize this was going to be how it was, but I got smacked in the face with all of my limitations. I got smacked in the face with my internal patterning that I grew up with. I got smacked in the face with like all of my escapism tendencies and the results of that, like the consequences of that. And I had to really start from square one. I had to really start from the ground up to, it all starts with, I'm getting the symbolism of, and I've given this in other readings before, but like I love the prairie. And one of my goals in my life is to one day help restore the prairie. And it takes years to restore like an old plot of, say, farmland. You have to dig up everything that is there and kill everything that is there in that land. The first year, you don't see any progress in the first year. It's all root level stuff. The next year you plant the seeds, you barely see any progress there. And then finally, like the third or fourth year is when you start to see the progress of the prairie land coming to life. And there is a process to building your dreams. There is a process to aligning to the awakened state, aligning to those aha moments. Like, yes, those aha moments are real and the potential is real, but then it's like you have to come back to the ground, you have to face what gets in the way. And that can be something that is harrowing. Like I had to get myself to rock bottom before I could start building from the ground up. Like I went from high to the lowest low I've ever experienced in my life. And there might just be a warning there if you are, it's so interesting because it feels so mismatched to all of everything I just said, but maybe those of you who know will know. Maybe those of you are having duality in your life. But yeah, it's like be present with what is. You have to clean up the mess that's right in front of you, and you have to accept yourself where you're at and take one step at a time. And that's kind of what the Nine of Wands is about. It's like one step at a time. Page of Pentacles is like a beginner, having a beginner mentality. And that awakening, recognizing that awakening is real and true, and it is your North Star. Like the knowing of what you're meant for, the knowing of what is to be is your North Star, but the work is more grueling than you think, because we do live on Earth, and that's part of our work that we've come to do. We've come to awaken, we've come to build our dreams, but we've also come to clean up the mess that we've created. And so some of you maybe need to hear that, be reminded of that. And I don't want this not to like shame anybody. It's more like it's beautiful. It's beautiful that part of our journey here is to clean up the mess, and that's an honor to be able to take part in that. That's a part of like our generation's mission. And there can be two things that are true at once. There is a paradox there, and that can be true, that you are meant for abundance and freedom and expansion and awakening, but also, there are things within perhaps like your lineage, like something you inherited that needs to be processed and healed from. There could be things from your childhood that you have to unravel and sort through in order to move forward. There could be just heaviness that you need to process before you can move forward. I feel like the message that's coming in now is like a message of there's purpose in the pain, like there is purpose in the weight, there is purpose in all of it. Because I know how it can feel like when you're in the midst of and again, I can't even attempt to understand what you're going through, I'm sure, but I know from what I've gone through, there's always a purpose, there's something you're unraveling, or at least there's potential of there being purpose in whatever experience you're presented with. There's potential it's the fertile darkness. There's a reason you're there, and you healing and you facing it and you loving yourself through it is what is going to align you to that purpose. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope those of you who needed to hear that will let that land. But if that message isn't resonating right now, please just dismiss it, because I think for some of you it might be something that comes later, like that recognition might be something, or maybe it's something you've already processed and you understand, but I don't think that's for all of you. I just want to, so like if you're feeling like, I don't know about that message, like just be like, let this be a confirmation that that one's not for you. You can just dismiss it right now and just stay with the other messages that did resonate. So I think that's it. So we're going to do the infinite prayer transmission now. I'm going to write down an intention for you, for your group, to kind of like feed into that transmission. And for you, I'm going to write down, stay aligned to the North Star of your awakening while embracing and loving yourself where you're at. Okay. All right, so thank you so much for being here. Again, there's a limited window of 50% off your first month of Patreon. The Overflow membership will give you access to the Infinite Prayer transmission that's correlated with this reading. If you just want to do the transmission, there's a link down below for that as well. Yeah, thank you so much. I hope I see you in another reading, in the Infinite Prayer, or in Patreon. Thank you. Bye. If you'd like to be supported more deeply through powerful energy healing transmissions that serve as monthly anchor points to keep you grounded and aligned to your most fulfilling path, along with access to a growing collection of exclusive soulful pick a flower readings, I'd be honored to have you in the sacred space of the Little Flower Patreon. My intention is for this space to be a spiritual lifeline to healing, clarity, and soul alignment. A sacred container that leaves you feeling free and safe to unfold into your most authentic and abundant nature. Each month in the Wellspring membership, I channel a theme or prompt for 2 new Pick a Flower readings, with one of those readings laying the foundation for what emerges in the Infinite Prayer. Using Reiki, prayer, intuitively guided affirmations, and a belief in miracles, I offer a new, powerful transmission each month. With the Overflow membership, receive everything in Wellspring, plus access to every new extended Infinite Prayer session drawn from monthly YouTube readings from October 2025 on. Click the link in the description box below if you feel called to explore. Feel free to like, comment, drop a flower emoji, or subscribe to The Little Flower. You may browse single Infinite Prayer transmissions, check out my adorable merch featuring my bee and flowers logo with the phrase, "Hello, lovely human," and leave me a tip or buy me a coffee if you feel called to. Last but not least, I have another YouTube channel called Soul Hearken, my heart and soul in video form. I'd be honored to have you over there as well. Everything you'll need is listed in the description box below. With so much gratitude, I send you prayers of happiness, peace, health, and wealth. You are honored and loved. Hello, lovely human. Welcome to The Little Flower. For today's reading, the prompt that came through is Dark Night of the Soul. Messages you need when you're in the thick of it. My intention with this reading is to give you the energies, the messages, the tools that you need to help you walk through something that is heavy, something that feels dark, something that is scary in your life. Just a heavy time. So I have had 2 significant dark nights of the soul of my life. I talked a little bit about it in the intro. So if you haven't listened to the intro, you could listen to that if you're curious about what I said there. I don't even know what I said there, but I said some stuff about my experiences. I don't think I went into too much detail, but it's there if you want to listen to that. But my intention, just based off my own experiences and kind of the wisdom I've gained from my own experiences, my intention is to give you anything I can give you to help you through what you're going through. So we are entering into the Infinite Prayer. And if you don't know what the Infinite Prayer is, I'm going to put a short little intro here about that, and I will see you in your reading. Before we get into your reading, I'd love to share with you something that exists as a deeper extension of the little flower. Inspired by a dream I once had where the divine reminded me that her healing waters are overflowing and meant for everyone, I offer what I call the infinite prayer. Using holy fire Reiki, prayer, intuitively guided affirmations, and a belief in miracles, I channel a powerful transmission each month in the Little Flower Patreon. I also offer extended infinite prayer sessions that flow from select readings, including the one you're about to receive. If you feel called to go deeper, to tap into your own sacred, ever-flowing internal spring, always pure, always moving, always offering exactly what you need the moment you choose to return, then the Infinite Prayer or the Little Flower Patreon may be for you. I'll share more about this at the end if you feel called. Now, let's move into your reading. Thank you so much for watching that. I just want to mention for a short period of time, I am offering 50% off your first month of Patreon. If you get the Overflow membership, it will include the Infinite Prayer transmission for this reading. So it actually is more inexpensive to do it that way than to buy the Infinite Prayer transmission one off. If you missed your window, don't worry, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, and you will be notified of when I post, because every month I do have a little window of time to get 50% off your first month of Patreon. But yeah, there's also just if you feel called to the Infinite Prayer transmission, there will be a link down below if you just want to buy that one off. That'll be there. So let's get into it. You chose group number 4 with the Red Zinnia. Zinnias are symbolic of endurance, lasting friendship, and remembrance. And our overarching theme card is from the Witch's Shadow Work Oracle, and you got the Lover. Beautiful. I love this. I love the red color too. I feel like red flowers are always symbolic of like passion and love, and it's like a rooted feeling. There's like the red is the color of the root chakra, like a grounded color, a really human color, you know. And there's just already this energy of, well, there is an energy of partnership and union coming through. So that's interesting with a shadow work reading. The initial feeling is you are meant for this union, this partnership that is going to be a hallmark of your entire life. It's like a dream come true kind of thing. It's something that's innate to who you are and what you're meant to experience on planet Earth. This feels such like a core of who you are, you in union with another and learning from another and deepening into relationship with another feels very integral to who you are. But I want to keep pulling cards to get more context here and see how this fits into this shadow work reading. So I'm going to pull from the Cosmic Magic Oracle, and this is an astrology oracle that I'm just pulling to see what energies, signs, planets are kind of at play here for you right now. By the way, there is a train outside. A train has not passed in any of these readings, but a train is here for you. And trains are symbolic of movement, of change. They're also symbolic, I like to think they're symbolic of like other cultures and like the color and beauty and like acceptance in our differences. They're also they're always graffitied and sometimes there are art on them. So they could be symbolic of the artistic side of human nature as well. So just wanted to mention that. I don't always mention the train, but I felt like mentioning it there. So we have Wisdom with Palace, number 29, and number 9, Joy with Sagittarius. I want to read about Palace because I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if that's like an asteroid. So yes, it's an asteroid, also known as Pallas Athena, that is named after the ancient Greek goddess of wisdom. Okay, Athena. And this asteroid represents wisdom, intuition, and problem solving. Okay, got it. Wisdom, cool. Check, got that. And the Sagittarius with Joy. There is a sense of freedom here too with this horse. And the rainbow is giving me 10 of Cups vibes. So initially what I'm already feeling is I see such joy on the horizon for you. I see love on the horizon for you. I see your 10 of Cups, ultimate dream reality, like at your fingertips kind of feeling. Like it feels like that. There's such hope here. And with the wisdom, it's making me think of the winding journey of your life that lands you in the arms of the one you love. Like, it feels like if it's been a long journey for you, there's purpose in that. And one day you will understand. So I'm keeping pulling cards though. These are just initial messages and energies, but this feels so much about love, union, partnership, intimacy. So the dark night of the soul you're walking through could be something that is giving you the wisdom you need to land yourself right where you need to be in that harmonious, loving union with yourself, with the one you love, with your environment, with your community. That's what the Ten of Cups is about. It's about family, feeling connected, feeling loved, feeling honored, and feeling like contented in your life as it is. Okay, so we have Preserve with Silver Ghost. Apparently that's a type of flower. And then we have like it looks like a tightrope, and then there's some sort of, I have no idea what that is. It looks like a flying squirrel of sorts. And then we have Release with Japanese honeysuckle. And again, with like a squirrel type figure. That's interesting. We had that happen in a couple of the groups. The two animals in these cards were like similar vibes, like either like rodents or dogs, or that kept happening. That's interesting. But yes, Release and Preserve. Very two opposing energies, though, I will say. Preserve feels like holding on to something, and Release feels like letting go. So we'll see what we get moving forward with that. Weirdly, I was getting a lot of messages from the previous 2 readings, or 3 readings, with the oracles, but I feel like I need to jump right into your tarot. Whew, there's a lot of energy coming in here, like with this love journey you're on. Like, this feels, I'm feeling my solar plexus suddenly just lit up, and I don't know, something just shifted really profoundly. Okay, we have 10 of Wands, 7 of Swords, the Hierophant, the Ace of Wands. That makes sense with that empowered energy that just came through my solar plexus. That was insane. It was like something just like lit me up and just drove me forward. And let's keep pulling cards. Ooh, the Star, nice. The 5 of Pentacles and the 5 of Wands. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I'm feeling like, and 4 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, it's making me think of this Preserve card. It kind of like goes alongside that. I'm feeling like a fight, like the 5 of Wands. And this fire energy, like I'm feeling this fight happening. There's like a struggle energy that's coming up. And with the 5 of Pentacles being here, it feels like she's left out, and there's this big door just ready to open for her, and the key is right there. And I wonder, it's like she's not recognizing that the key's there because she feels at a loss, like she has no way out, or like she's left out in the cold and there's no way to find her way back into the warmth. I'm also getting the energy of someone who knows they have an exit, or they know that they can open their heart up to love. They can open their soul up to this expansive new chapter in their life, but they're choosing to stay in the comfort of their lonely energy, like choosing to stay in the comfort of the known. Like, again, we have that Preserve and that 4 of Pentacles that popped out, like clinging to something, holding on to something because it feels safe and secure. That's the feeling. It's like almost like, because you can't miss it. What's beaming is this beautiful door. And then 5 is a number of change. There are 5 Pentacles here with a keyhole, with a key laying right there on the door. So you know you can walk through a door. It just feels like there's an internal battle going on as to whether or not to walk through the door. This is so interesting. And the Hierophant can be about like a controlled set of ways, like it can be about dogma and its shadow. But it also can be about helpful guidance. So, and there's something you're not seeing clearly with the Seven of Swords. And there's a weight you're carrying with the Ten of Wands, I feel like. And for some reason with this Ten of Wands, like, okay, she's heading in this direction. Usually I love this Ten of Wands. Never gotten this symbolism from this, but in your case, it looks like you're supposed to go up the hill. You're supposed to follow these lanterns and these lights up the hill. But you're choosing all of your baggage. Like you're choosing to stay with your baggage and just to walk horizontally instead of like to your true north. And we have the star here, which is all about your true north. And it feels like you're just like gonna walk in circles around the hill before you decide to finally go up it. Like nothing's gonna change. You're just like this baggage, whatever this baggage is, feels like it's like holding you down and weighing you down, but you're choosing it. You don't want to let go of the baggage. There's something there. There's an old way of being. There are old patternings you're not willing. I don't even want to say ready to let go of. I think you're ready. I think it's long overdue. I think there are things you're not willing to let go of. And it could be in terms of safety, security, what is known, fear of the unknown. There's something there. I believe that change is within your grasp and within your control. Now that might not be what you want to hear. Because sometimes we have to take risks. Sometimes we have to do things that frighten us, that scare us, that make us feel uncomfortable, that make us feel unsafe. Sometimes in order to make necessary changes in our life that we want, we have to go outside of our comfort zone, do uncomfortable things. And this is, I kind of, you know what? I haven't read from the Shadow Work, the Witch's Shadow Work deck, but I want to read it for this Lover card. Oh my God, it's so dead on. The Lover asks, what holds you back from healthy relationships? Wouldn't it be handy if those looking for love had access to Aphrodite's girdle? This magic accessory had the power to inspire the love of another, making the wearer irresistible to the object of their desire. Generously, Aphrodite didn't keep the useful garment to herself. She lent it to Hera, who successfully employed it to seduce Zeus. Although obviously you cannot get a hold of the girdle yourself, it is useful to see it as a metaphor or as a talisman. Imagine it wrapped around you if you are seeking love. It can help with self-confidence and increase your desirability. Keep in mind a modern version of Aphrodite's girdle, the belt worn by Wonder Woman in the DC comics. This enhanced her strength and heightened your powers, handy when presenting yourself to a potential lover. A metaphorical girdle is all very well, but when it comes to choosing the right person to captivate, use your own wisdom garnered from experience. Literally says wisdom here. Okay, so self-sabotage in the guise of poor judgment or people-pleasing can rear its shadowy head at the start of relationships, resulting in unsuitable matches. So think carefully about what you really want from another person and what will make you happy before rushing in. I deserve relationships that feel safe and are healthy. Okay. Well, this is cute. There's like, it says write a short story. Open your shadow journal on a fresh page. Write how I found love and happiness at the top of the page. And then write a short story imagining how you met your ideal match or friend. Write this in the first person in past tense. Think of the location first, then describe your impressions of your partner or friend when you first meet them. Go beyond physical descriptions. Include all the personality traits you would like in an ideal mate or friend. So keep these positive and appealing. Now write a few lines of dialogue that reveal their character and how they would respond to yours. When you have a clear sense of the person you are looking for, take your characters for a walk or put them in another situation and see how they behave. Oh, I love this. Be clear about the person you are describing. For the universe to find them, it needs to know who you are looking for. That's so cute. I love that idea because I feel like if you look at it in the past tense, like how I found love and happiness, you might gain some ground of, okay, well, I got over that. Like you could see, like, if you look backwards as if you're in the new reality, and you could see more clearly what's holding you back, and it could feel less intense or feel less limiting. And you could see, oh, wow, I was just holding on to this baggage. And it's so funny that I was holding on to that because how much better is my life now that I let it go. So this whole reading, and I know I'm talking about Dark Night of the Soul, so, but, and every single reading so far has really been more, I guess, intense, or, but so far, I mean, maybe we'll get into it a little more. There might be something deeper, because maybe that's what we need to talk about, because it just feels like, in the deception energy here with the Seven of Swords, like, I think there's something that feels heavier to you, or that feels like a bigger barrier than what it really is. And I feel like, as far as Dark Night of the Soul goes, it could be like a period of time in your life where you walk through loneliness and feel trapped, feel stuck in that loneliness, because you feel like there's this barrier, but it feels like a self-imposed barrier. And I feel like that what this reading wants to do for you is to lift the weight of it, because it feels like it's not as big of a weight as you're thinking it is. Like with that feeling of writing the story of how you met the person you're meant to be with, that could be so beneficial, looking back and being like, kind of like perplexed by why you held on so long to your loneliness, or why you held on so long to the weight you were carrying. It could be something like that. But when you're in it, it feels real. And when you're in it, it feels like something that's really blocking you, and you do feel like a little victimized by it. So I'm definitely curious what that is. It's like, oh, I need more cards. But no, we have the cards present that we need, and I will draw from what we have here. I know there are more messages. Again, with that Seven of Swords, like, it feels like I need something else. I'm reaching out for something else for answers. But no, the answers, like, whatever you need is literally right in front of you. That is the feeling. So, I mean, and we have the Ace of Wands in the center, and the Star, and the Hierophant. Like, these three cards feel beautiful. They feel like you have the support you need, you have the guidance you need, you have the wisdom that you need to move out of this place of lack. And the Star is like that, that North Star that's guiding you. And when I think of the Ace of Wands, I think of the solar plexus, but in this deck, it's someone who has their eyes closed, and it's in their third eye. And it's like an intuitive hit that ignites something in you. That's the feeling. And in all cases so far, we're talking about you're meant to go, like, look at these steps up to the light here. I told, like, with this 10 of Wands, I was telling you about, you're meant to follow that path up, higher, higher, higher. The Star, she's looking up, higher, higher, higher. And there's a path upwards and out of your situation, out of the feelings of loneliness, out of the feelings of lack. And it's all about going within, closing your eyes, and waiting for the answer to present itself to you, because it's been there all along. Dreaming, like the dream state, is so important for you. And that's cool, because my final card is going to be from a lucid dreaming oracle. So I'm excited to read that. But yeah, like a dream state, like a being in what you want and experiencing what you want, being like living in your heart and in your being as if it's already true, will truly help you see how small the limitations are that you're seeing is so big, because they're all in front of you right now. Like, it's not like the block isn't as big as you think. And it could be about ignition and inspiration and a light that drives you, and an inner strength that drives you to finally pick up that key and open that door. I mean, the key looks massive, so that key is heavy, but you have it in you. You have the strength and the courage within you to lift it and to turn it and to open that door. You have it within you. And I think it's like dissipated. That light is dissipated. Like, you can't see it. You can't feel it. It's like earlier, remember I like that energy just burst into me. The light just, my solar plexus lit up, and like an inner strength came through, like a motivation came through. And I think that's something that's going to push you forward soon. And like internal, like going within, or even like spending time. Something I like to do is go to the lake that is nearby my hometown, and just sit there in this beautiful expanse of water and the sun shining on me. And it like opens something within me. Like I feel like you need that contemplation energy. You need that freedom energy. Like take a day trip somewhere on your own. You need light and expansiveness and openness to shine down on you so that you can see the truth of what you're really walking through and what you're really up against, which is something way less than what you're expecting it to be. It's way more overcomable than what you're expecting it to be. That's the feeling. Like on the other side of a door that's just the keys right there is everything you've been ever hoping for. And there is a way to gain that courage to open that door. It's like almost like mental. Like it feels like it's like a perspective shift or like an awareness shift. And like, it's like, of course, why wouldn't I do this? This makes perfect sense. So interesting. This dark night of the soul feels like an inner knowing that, like with the lover being central, like an inner knowing that your lover is out there, that the one you're meant to love is out there. And yet you're withheld from them. So this could be a long journey of feeling like you're missing someone or missing something. And it could have been for a purpose. Again, with that wisdom card, everything happened in a way it was meant to, and you'll understand one day. Sorry, I just got distracted and I went to go talk to my mom who just got home. And I kind of forgot where I was. But I kept wanting to expand on this, and I feel like the message is there, and I feel like I just need to move on to my final card from the Lucid Dreaming Oracle. Let me just make sure, because it's so weird. I keep having this feeling of wanting to wrap up this message, but the message is already inherent in it, like it's done. And so I wonder if that's where you're at, where it feels like, okay, I'm not ready yet. I have to wrap up this last cycle, but that's kind of like a loop you're stuck in that's not serving you. And really, it's just time to open the door. There is such, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Number 17 is a number of the star. The star is a message of this is going to be better than you expect. You just finally letting go and either taking the leap or just taking that step into what you truly want. It's going to turn out better than you expect, if that's possible. Yeah, so I'm going to read from this guidebook and see what we have here. It says the initiate. And again, we have a snake. I don't know if I mentioned that, but on this lover card here, there is like her hair's like wrapping around and it's behind the man's head and it's like a snake. And it's kind of like, it's making me think of the forbidden fruit. It's like something you want so badly, but you're almost afraid to touch it. That's kind of interesting. So yeah, let's read 17, the initiate. And again, this is a lucid dreaming deck, and if it talks about lucid dreaming, I just want you to correlate it with the idea of your real life and being awake in the dream of being human. So it says, sitting in a circle of stones, the dreamer sees what visions will come to her within the dream. Lucidly, she is initiated into a new level of spiritual maturity and awakens to the messages for the upcoming chapter of her life. She is ready to step towards her destiny with clarity. Lucid living message. You've spent enough time pursuing the delights of mundane life. Now is the moment you're called toward initiation into a new level of spiritual maturity. The time has come to put down immature thoughts, words, and actions and align with your life's purpose. This can feel scary and intimidating because it requires letting go of old habits and beliefs. It can even signify the release of unfulfilling relationships in your life. In moments like this, right before your retreat, it can feel as if the pressures from the external world intensify. Initiation isn't always pleasant. Sometimes it is foisted upon you as an illness, a loss, or an accident. Regardless of how it comes about, know that it is the right moment for change to happen. Retreating into nature is an exceptional way to reconnect with your place in the natural world and the natural order of things. If nature is not readily available to you where you live, try going into your backyard or small park, or even find a single tree by which to sit. Reflect on the messages that come to you spontaneously, even if they seem foreign or strange. As you enter the natural world, study its behaviors, patterns, and cycles. Notice how each season gives way to another. There is a cycle of growth, a cycle of decrease, a cycle of stillness, and a cycle of abundance. Which cycle are you in right now in your life? There's nothing inherently wrong with withdrawing from the external world for a time. The leaves are released and fall from the trees, and the trees conserve their energy through the long winter and until the spring comes again. Match the energetic truth of winter by retreating and pulling back your energy from external pursuits. Study the animals that are currently coming to you. What lessons do they hold? Try aligning yourself with the powers of a particular animal. For example, if birds come to you regularly, watch how they take in the world by quickly looking to and fro. They gather a great deal of information before deciding where to fly next, but they don't hesitate once it is time to take flight. They just open their wings and fly away. You can respond in the same way in your current situation. Study your surroundings by taking in bits of information from all directions. Assess and gather what you need to know. Once the right moment arises, take flight without hesitation. Struggling to connect with yourself may signify that you need to take more intentional measures to go inward. Retreat into nature and implore it to provide you with guidance. Okay, so what was coming through for me when I was reading that was this next step in your life towards dreams come true for you, towards the desires of your heart, is going to feel more natural than you think. It can feel more natural than you think. And it is like simply living and breathing. It is something that's innate to your soul. And when it comes to a love journey, this is something that is a core of who you are. This is something that is innate to your life purpose. Like a relationship can be innate to your life purpose. And so again, with this is a natural evolution of your soul and where you're meant to go. And so there is like a tapping into that inevitability of that that's going to serve you in moving forward. And the release of what isn't serving this next chapter and this next step is going to feel natural, just as natural as leaves falling off a tree in the fall. So yeah, okay. So that is your final message, group number 4. Thank you so much for being here. Again, there's a code down below if you're here in time to get that 50% off. And oh yes, we have to get my intention for you for the infinite prayer. So my intention for you guys for the infinite prayer is you are ready. Rise into what you're meant for. I'm going to write what, and then in parentheses I'm writing who you're meant for. Okay. Alrighty, thank you so much. Feel free to like, comment, or drop a flower emoji if this resonated. As always, I am honored by your presence, and I hope I see you in the Infinite Prayer over in Patreon or in another reading soon. Thank you. Bye. If you'd like to be supported more deeply through powerful energy healing transmissions that serve as monthly anchor points to keep you grounded and aligned to your most fulfilling path, along with access to a growing collection of exclusive soulful pick a flower readings, I'd be honored to have you in the sacred space of the Little Flower Patreon. My intention is for this space to be a spiritual lifeline to healing, clarity, and soul alignment. A sacred container that leaves you feeling free and safe to unfold into your most authentic and abundant nature. Each month in the Wellspring membership, I channel a theme or prompt for 2 new Pick a Flower readings, with one of those readings laying the foundation for what emerges in the Infinite Prayer. Using Reiki, prayer, intuitively guided affirmations, and a belief in miracles, I offer a new, powerful transmission each month. With the Overflow membership, receive everything in Wellspring, plus access to every new extended Infinite Prayer session drawn from monthly YouTube readings from October 2025 on. Click the link in the description box below if you feel called to explore. Feel free to like, comment, drop a flower emoji, or subscribe to The Little Flower. You may browse single infinite prayer transmissions, check out my adorable merch featuring my bee and flowers logo with the phrase, "Hello, lovely human," and leave me a tip or buy me a coffee if you feel called to. Last but not least, I have another YouTube channel called Soul Hearken, my heart and soul in video form. I'd be honored to have you over there as well. Everything you'll need is listed in the description box below. With so much gratitude, I send you prayers of happiness, peace, health, and wealth. You are honored and loved.